Lennon Festival on Facebook for a full list of events.
The Naughty Alarm Clock.
The Naughty Alarm Clock.
Highland Radio.
She played the fiddle in an Irish band, but she fell in love.
From her sister Kelly and brother-in-law Ray, is it? And 3 girls. So congratulations, Gregory. Good morning to you.
I was sad listening to your story about old appliances.
Why? So Dermot had a great one about the old chip fryer his mum used to have.
I'm not interested in that. Well, sorry, that sounds awful. I didn't know his mum had it.
Yeah.
Oh my God, can I take that back? Yeah. I was just thinking as you were talking there, if we judged our lives in terms of cookers, I might be on my last oven.
Do you think so?
I could be on my last oven.
Why do you say that?
Well, they last quite a long time. It's relatively new. I could be on my last oven.
Do you clean your oven?
I'm on about before I pop my clogs.
God, this is very deep, Gregory.
Well, I'm like about 3 ovens old.
Are you?
And I've got my 4th
Have you gone
oven.
through 3 ovens?
I would say so.
I have the same oven still.
Well, you'll probably got 1 oven left in you.
Do you think so? Oh, I know what you're saying now.
Your life expectancy
Oh, don't say that to me.
Your life expectancy is 1 oven.
Let me tell you.
I'm on my last oven.
I haven't even, I need to cook a turkey in my oven before I get rid of this one then. I have never cooked a turkey in the oven.
Why not?
Just Dad would always cook it and bring it down to the
that's
house.
fine. There's no harm in that.
Yeah, so you think I'm one oven
I
away
think
from heaven?
I think you've 1 oven left in you. I think I'm on my last oven.
Do you think so?
Donna Marie's hopefully got about 4
She's
or
got
5
about 3,
ovens.
I would say. She's got about 3 ovens in her.
What about Caroline?
Oh, don't go there. Air fryer. It's light. Caroline. It's all good fun, right?
She's a double drawer air fryer. She's on her 3rd last one.
I have to go out these doors now, so.
Well, it's nothing wrong. No one said anything wrong. Anyway, Slán go fóill, Callie Bug.
Yeah, Callie and Jazz. Come here, good luck now. Have a good show.
All right, take care of yourself.
All right, thanks,
Bye-bye.
Greg.
All right, it is the 9 till noon show. After we get a news update, and I promise we will start getting the news at 9 o'clock very shortly. It's a minute past now, and it's over to Donna Marie Doherty.
Thanks, Greg. Good morning. The Infrastructure Minister in Northern Ireland has recommended to proceed with the A5. He made the announcement in Northern Irish Assembly yesterday afternoon in response to a topical question by West Tyrone MLA Nicola Brogan. Minister John O'Dowd said following a report by the Planning Appeals Commission, he will issue papers to his executive colleagues and await their responses with a view to having final approved submitted by mid-August.
I can confirm that at this morning's executive meeting I briefed executive colleagues that in the coming days I will be issuing them with my initial response to the Planning Appeals Commission's report. I will also be making a recommendation that we proceed with the A5. I am conscious that this is a cross-cutting issue, so I will issue the papers to my executive colleagues, I will await their feedback, and then I will submit a further paper for mid-August for their approval on the moving ahead with the A5 project.
Donegal, Dublin, Cork and Kerry are among just some of the counties where thousands of homes will be needed by 2040. Data from the ESRI suggests population growth in all major towns and cities across the country will result into an overall population of 6.1 million by 2040. Paul Egan, Research Officer with the ESRI, says a number of factors were taken into consideration when calculating the figures.
We consider 3 demographic assumptions or a baseline scenario around demographics, where net immigration is 35,000 per year to 2030, and we also have a high international migration. After we make the population projections, we also account for change in typical household size, and then that gives us projection of housing demand up to 2040.
A further 5 countries are to be designated as safe in proposals brought to Cabinet this morning. International protection applications from Brazil, Malawi, India, Morocco and Egypt will be fast-tracked from Wednesday the 3rd of July. It follows the designation of Algeria and Botswana in January, and Justice Minister Helen McEntee is expected to tell Cabinet applications from those countries have fallen by 71%. The legal process of buying a house is being scrutinised by the Oireachtas Justice Committee today. The Institute of Professional Auctioneers and Valuers will tell the committee the sale process needs to be speeded up by providing full transparency and information to prospective buyers up front. IPAV wants to see the conveyancing system become more efficient, secure and cost effective for future buyers. That's all for now from Highland Radio News. We'll be back with more at 10 o'clock.
At the Irish Independent, we don't just cover sport. We tell the stories written all over Ireland. After all, each struggle, triumph, high and low, leaves a mark that lasts. Irish Independent, written all over Ireland.
The county's #1 talk show, The 9 till Noon Show on Highland Radio.
And now, it's time for the talk of the Northwest, The 9 till Noon Show with Greg Hughes on Highland Radio.
Hello, good morning to you. You're very welcome along to the 9 till Noon Show on this, the 2nd of July, 4 minutes past 9. How you all keeping? I hope you're very well indeed. We've a packed show for you as always. It's Tuesday, so we'll have the very latest news and appeals from An Garda Síochána for you first here live on the 9 till Noon Show. That's coming up after 10. We're going to be chatting to Laura Boner from the Muff Liquor Company a little later on in the show. It's a big day for that company. Of course, they've recently signed a massive deal to distribute their products in America, and Russell Crowe's in town, of Gladiator fame and many other films. He's in town. He's one of the backers. Ed Sheeran, I don't think he's going to make an appearance, but he certainly is also one of those with a financial interest in the company, which goes from strength to strength. So it's a very busy day for Laura, and we'll grab a word with her before this morning is out. That and so much more besides. Anything you want to talk about, let us know. 086 60 25,000. Any news for us? Give us a call too on 086 60 25,000 is the text. To call us, it's 07491 25,000. If you want to email, it's comments@highlandradio.com. Watch the show at home on your smart TV or Fire Stick, YouTube, Highland Radio Ireland, and search us on Facebook and X if you're out and about. On to the newspapers, and a lot of law stuff in the newspapers today, a lot of court stuff, as you can imagine. So it'll be brief enough. There's not too much knocking about in the world of newspapers. It has to be said that's interesting for this item. But a story that's covered extensively, and I'll take it from the Irish Independent. Rape survivor Blathnid Raleigh has voiced her support for Natasha O'Brien and said young men are not calling out their peers amid a concerned culture of violence against women. The 26-year-old was speaking after a judge imposed an 8-year jail term on her rapist, Jonathan Moran. Moran was jailed yesterday after he was found guilty of a serious assault of Miss Raleigh in a garden shed in 2019. And just, I'm conscious that young ones are off school at the moment and might be listening, so I'll not go into much detail, but suffice to say it is brutal. And I don't want in any way to diminish her experience, but I hope you understand. Miss Raleigh, who waived her right to anonymity, described the sentence handed down at the Central Criminal Court by Justice Tony Hunt as one she was happy with. I think it's a strong sentence, she said. It sent a strong message, and the judge was very definite with his thoughts, which is important to me. Somebody also recognises how bad this was. I'm happy with the sentence. And the judge also said quite interestingly, and perhaps not coincidentally, that the career prospects of the accused should not be used really in mitigating a sentence. So that's Jonathan Moran serving 8 years, the final year suspended. A secondary school teacher, this is in the Irish Times, a secondary school teacher who sent an anonymous letter falsely alleging that a male colleague was a child abuser has escaped jail. Judge Alex Gabbett imposed a suspended 2-month sentence on the 42-year-old father of 3 at Ennis District Court in Clare. The victim of 2 false letters sent by the accused said in a victim impact statement that his life had been made a living nightmare by the fictitious allegations made up by his colleague. Now, can you imagine someone sending those letters claiming that you're guilty of one of the most horrendous of crimes. It really is quite shocking. The nature of this crime is that when you have a problem with somebody, you send in an anonymous letter saying that they're a child abuser, the judge said. This could have had career-changing implications for the victim, and I have to be mindful of that. I have to mark the seriousness of the events that took place. Solicitor Dara Hassett for the accused admitted that what his client did was harassment of a vile nature, but said his client was not well at the time the letters were sent. Lots of people are not well, but don't send those types of letters. In any case, a 2-month suspended sentence for that impact on that other person's lives. The Daily Mail this morning, 2/3 of us believe that it is harder than ever to buy a first home. A new study found that levels of optimism when it came to people's chances of getting on the property ladder have not improved in 5 years. While 67% felt that it had never been harder, the survey commissioned by the life insurance and pension company Royal London Ireland also found that 27% agreed that while it is hard to buy a first home, this has always been the case. Is that fair? Do you agree with the 67% or the 27%? Now, I know they don't both add up to 100. There's always I don't knows. But has it always been really hard to get your first home? I think it has. Is it harder than ever now? I presume so because of the availability and cost. Barry McClutchan of Royal London Bank said 5 years on and in the court of public opinion, not much has changed. People still believe that buying a home in Ireland has increasingly become an uphill struggle. Also, as part of that article, it tells us that on average, of 44,000 new housing units are needed every year to keep up with population growth, new research shows, which is actually short of the target set by Fine Gael. So if you go by this and you go by Fine Gael's targets, they're oversubscribing the market. The Economic and Social Research Institute published a report funded by the Department of Housing, which presents a range of scenarios for future demand. Taking the average of all 12 scenarios, structural housing demand is projected to be around 44,000 per year. Most of those houses needed in Dublin and Cork, also we read. Just tracking the political events of France, because often what can happen there can ripple out across Europe. Politicians say France is days away from catastrophe. After the hard-right National Rally Party won the first round of parliamentary elections, Marine Le Pen's anti-immigration party is now the dominant force in French politics. I think that's not necessarily, not that I'm involved in French politics, I don't think she's anti-immigration or the party's anti-immigration. They're anti-certain types of immigration. I have heard her say on a number of occasions that people are welcome into the country if they conform to certain scenarios. So she's anti-certain elements of immigration. I'm not sure it's correct to label her party completely anti-immigration. I'm open to correction on that. But anyway, she's at the gates of power. Rioting engulfed the streets of Paris with just 6 days until the crucial second round of voting, which will decide the country's future. It is the biggest political turmoil to hit the country, which hosts the Olympics in just over 3 weeks, in decades. National Rally secured over 33% of the opening vote, the only time the hard right has won the first round of French parliamentary elections. Now all eyes are on Sunday's second round runoff, in which the majority of the 577 seats will be decided. Talking of immigration, in the Irish Daily Mirror, a further 5 countries are to be added to Ireland's safe countries list under plans that will be considered by the government. International protection applications from these states, which have not been officially named, will be accelerated from Wednesday following an extensive review by the department. It's understood Egypt, India and Brazil are 3 of the 5 Minister Helen McEntee intends to add. Now, I've looked down the list of where people are coming from, and I don't recall seeing Egypt, India or Brazil in the top 5. I'll double check it. Well, applicants will now be expedited, or applications, and will be processed more quickly than those from other countries. There are currently 10 nations designated as safe countries, but as I say, as where the majority of people are coming from, it's certainly not Egypt, India or Brazil. And lastly, I presume some of you keeping an eye on the strike action at Aer Lingus. Feuding Aer Lingus pilots and bosses have been urged to drop their baggage amid threats of a wave of all-out strikes. Both sides yesterday attended showdown talks at the Labour Court in a bid to ground the bitter dispute over pay. Pilots have been waging an indefinite work to rule industrial action since last Wednesday before upping the ante with a full 8-hour work stoppage on Saturday. The Labour Court now has said it is going to intervene on it. It's going to meet tomorrow, make its recommendations. I believe they're at least somewhat binding. But anyway, we'll see how that goes. Good morning, Dolores, Kathy, Annie, Josephine. They've signed in, watching across our social media and on our website. Feel free to say hello if you are watching the show. It's always good to hear from you in that space as well. And keep your texts and calls coming in to us. 07491 25,000. That's the text line. No, it's not. Why am I getting my numbers mixed up today? 08660 25,000. Maybe I did say that. Is the WhatsApp and text line, or you can call us on 07491 25,000. Hopefully, things will be a little bit smoother going forward. We'll be back very shortly.
Daily newspapers are courtesy of Kelly Centra and Diner, Mountaintop Letterkenny, winner of Best Family Dining at the Highland Radio Hospitality Awards. The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union. Digital loans now available. Apply online or via our app today and get your loan transferred directly to your current account.
GiveBlood.ie know we can count on you, our community of blood donors, to be there for others in their hour of need. Blood donors from Buncrana should attend the clinic in the Inishowen Gateway Hotel on Monday 1st and Tuesday 2nd of July, and donors from Carndonagh should attend the clinic in the Carndonagh Community School on Wednesday 3rd and Thursday 4th. Making an appointment is recommended, so call 1-800-731-137 or visit our website to book your time. New donors are vital. Visit giveblood.ie to check eligibility and clinic details, because we count on you.
Attention Inishowen shoe lovers. Step into Grant Shoes Buncrana, the heart and soul of our town since 1926. From Clark's to Skechers, find fabulous footwear for men, women and kids, all at unbeatable prices. Don't miss our summer sale where amazing discounts await you. Visit us in store or online at grantshoes.com for your perfect pair of shoes.
Sorry, my flight is leaving. Do you mind if I jump ahead? If there's ever a time to get ahead, this is it. Book early with Travel Department and save up to €400 per person on incredible destinations in 2025. They'll arrange everything with the perfect balance between doing it all and downtime. This 2025 offer won't be repeated, so book by July the 8th at traveldepartment.com. Travel Department. Let's see more. T's and C's apply.
If you aren't quite ready to drive a full EV, you'll be going in the right direction with the Mazda CX-5. This SUV comes with fuel-saving Mazda M hybrid technology and a 6-year warranty you'll find across the entire Mazda range. Test drive the 242 Mazda range at McGinley Motors Mazda Letterkenny. Mazda, crafted in Japan.
Highland Radio Time Checks brought to you by EirGrid, the operator and developer of Ireland's electricity grid. EirGrid, powering up communities, powering up Ireland. The time is...
The time is... I haven't a clue. 16 minutes past 9. You're welcome back to the show. Right, yesterday on the programme, Councillor Micheál Collum McGill-Nasberg raised the issue of Glenveigh Castle not being accessible. He said he was told it was because of a shortage of staff. So as we promised, we got in contact with the powers that be in relation to this. It's the Department of Housing, Local Government and Heritage. And we received this response. Due to staffing pressures over the past 2 weeks, we've had to temporarily close Glenveigh Castle on a number of days. Health and safety of our staff and visitors is paramount and always central to our decision making. We are doing everything we can to reopen this week, but will remain closed today, that's Tuesday of course, and Wednesday for the next while due to staffing issues. We're working to get panels in place to fill staff vacancies in our visitor service and return to full opening, but this will take time and we ask people to bear with us. Glenveigh National Park has a number of new general operatives and conservation rangers. Appointment of a park ranger is also imminent. A committed staff in Glenveigh Castle and National Park continue to provide an invaluable service to the public. We apologise for any inconvenience caused. So that seems to indicate that it's closed today and tomorrow and every Tuesday and Wednesday for the foreseeable. If I've read that correctly, I'll just read that line one more time. We will remain closed today and Wednesday for the next while due to staffing issues. Okay, so that sounds like the closing Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Might get a bit of clarification on that. It's not fully clear to me. We were talking about the importance of giving blood if you can because of dwindling stocks. This caller says, I used to give blood regularly. 5 years ago, I had an ablation and they won't let me donate since. I'm not on any medication and can't understand the reasoning. They are crying out for people to donate blood and they won't let me even though I'm fit and healthy. Another, I was a regular blood donor until I had to get a blood transfusion during the birth of my baby over 20 years ago. I have no medical issues. The transfusion was related to the birth only. BTSB will not take any blood again because I received the transfusion. We did have a conversation with them about the transfusion and the rules around that. I just can't remember exactly how that played out. Morning, Greg. I just heard on Highland Radio about Glenveigh Castle being closed. It's not for the want of staff. I worked out there for years and they were tripping over one another. Well, we've got official confirmation that it is for the want of staff. Closed Tuesdays and Wednesdays, at least of this week. And they're having to put panels in place and they're working on that and what have you. Greg, you should do a feature on water safety. I'm 42 and I never realised a life jacket inflated. Call me silly. I just didn't know how it would save you. Never thought about it, but now I do. Thanks. That's a listener in Lifford. Well, it depends on the type of life jacket. The majority of people who just use, who just go out on the sea occasionally, what have you, the jacket wouldn't actually inflate. It would just... It's just got padding in it that helps you float. Obviously, when you go up to inshore fishermen out at sea, and those that take it a little bit seriously, there are life jackets that do inflate once they come into contact with the water. So it depends. But yeah, certainly, it's always no harm to do any features that help to empower people with knowledge. A caller says, young people go to other countries like Australia and work up to 80 hours a week. They complain that they can't afford to stay in Ireland. If they worked 80 hours, they could afford whatever they want. We need to give our young people more incentive to work. Another, Greg, hundreds, if not thousands, of false allegations are made in... Oh, I read that one yesterday. It's quite long. I read that one yesterday, though. Right, okay. I'm going to be joining very shortly two very special sisters, Jodie and Kerry Lockery from Buncrana. Are you there with us? You can hold it like that. Can you hear me okay, Jodie? Kerry, how are you getting on? Here we go. Just about to unmute. I thought you young ones were supposed to be fantastic with technology. What's going on, girls? 2 minutes, okay. Two Donegal sisters. They're going to make history. Irish soccer history, actually, in a couple of months. I will actually do this. It might help. I'll ask you to unmute. They're going to be making history as they've both been named in Ireland women's under-19 squad for the European Championship finals in Lithuania. They're going to be joining us very shortly to have a chat. So whilst they do that, I'll continue talking. In Terminal 2, T2, Dublin Airport yesterday, dropping off my daughter and her boyfriend to return to Perth for another year's work, I made a point of checking out the tourist leaflet stand. I saw on the way back to the car park there wasn't anything about the Wild Atlantic Way, never mind anything about Donegal. The booklet about the West had Glenveigh and Glebe Gallery listed. That's it, which is it's disappointing, isn't it? We really do need, when people come into Dublin, it's tough enough really for us to sort of sell our part of the world as it is without it actually being advertised where the most people come in, that being Dublin, of course. And there used to be an issue with that in other places as well. Right, let's see if I can join our sisters now, Jodie and Kerry Lockery from Buncrana. Good morning, girls.
Good morning.
Fingers crossed. As I say, I thought it was, young people were all over the technology, and yet here we are. Come here, congratulations on the both of you. What an amazing experience. You know, Jodie, if it was just you, it would be fantastic. But the fact that it's the two of you makes it extra special that you're going to make history together and named on the under-19 squad for the European Championship finals in Lithuania. What's it feel like?
Oh, it's brilliant. Like, I suppose the last time Ireland even qualified was 10 years ago. So no, it's absolutely brilliant. Like, say you're going to the Euros, like, it's crazy.
Now, both of you for Buncrana, but both of you also play for Sligo Rovers currently, and your kind of careers have tracked each other right from the get-go, haven't they, Kerry?
They have. I don't know why. That's just the way it's been.
All right, okay. And if I were Sligo Rovers, do I have to sign the two of yous, or do I have to sign the two of yous, or can you move individually as well?
Most of the time we're a package dealer. But no, we always go where basically each other goes, just, you know what I mean?
And do you see that as an advantage, sort of? I mean, I presume there's a bit of sibling rivalry there, but also a lot of sibling support pushing you on because you have to be operating at the very high level to start getting named in international squads and what have you. Does it help to have each other around?
Oh, 100%. Like, even going, like, during the week, like, to the pitch, like, we have each other to play with, and, like, you know what I mean? We're always pushing each other on, whether it's...
we're very competitive, so we always want to win against each other.
Yeah, that's it. And what positions do you play in?
I play in left wing or in centre mid.
Right, Kerry?
And then I play centre mid, right wing, left back, wherever really.
Right, okay. Problem if they're looking for one centre mid and they have to pick between the two of you. But anyway, we hope there's a bit of flexibility there to make sure you both line out. So you're in the squad at this stage. That's already historic in itself. It's a tough enough old group: Spain, Germany, and the Netherlands.
Yeah, I think they're probably the three best in Europe, to be honest. But I don't know, 10 years ago they got Spain 2 in it, and I think they either drew or beat them 1-0. So there's always a chance, like, but we have to go into the games hoping that we can win, like.
Yeah, exactly. But listen, if you're going to be the best, you have to play the best, don't you? And this is fantastic for you too, Kerry. I know you are both very committed to Sligo Rovers, but this is a fantastic platform too to show the world what you have, and who knows what opportunities that could open up as well.
Yeah, exactly.
So at this stage, you're in the squad. If selected for the starting 11, the Lougheries would become the first female siblings to represent Ireland at a major tournament. Jodie, that in itself as well would be fantastic. But listen, you have to worry about not getting injured between now and then. Do you allow yourselves to think about that possibility, I wonder?
Yeah, I suppose so. Like, yeah, like you have to think about that, but like you know what I mean. Like you have to put that away. Like you just have to keep on training. We have a couple of days off now with Sligo, so it's grand. Like, but we're still going to keep on training ourselves. So hopefully, no injuries.
Yeah, that's it. And the opening game is when? It's in mid-July, isn't it? July 15th?
Yep, that Monday. Yeah.
All right, very exciting. Now, when do you fly out?
This Monday coming.
Okay, and I suppose we'll like any team, we'll know the squads. Not the squad. We know the squad. We'll know the starting lineup just before the game. Fingers crossed. It's been a fantastic experience for you. As I say, playing at under 17 level together, playing for Sligo Rovers together, and hopefully making history. Both playing for the under 19 squad. That would be something else, wouldn't it? How proud of the family?
I'm very proud.
And where does who did you get this sort of this sport and skill from, Kerry?
Definitely not the parents.
They say it skips a generation. Was your granddad a top scorer for Ireland or something?
All my brothers played, so then when we were younger, we just kind of played with them out in the garden, so probably from them.
And I'd say too, you got in with the right coaches early on that perhaps saw the potential to bring you through as well.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, okay. And are you watching the European Championships at the moment? I don't suppose, did you watch?
We are. Portugal last night. That was a good game. Now I must say.
Where do you stand on Ronaldo?
I know. Felt bad.
Yeah, that was us. I've never seen 4 saves effectively in half an hour that was so decisive. Absolutely unbelievable. And it wasn't that the kick takers made mistakes; they were just outstanding penalty saves.
Yeah, they were.
Goalkeepers never get the credit. It's always you outfielders that take all the glory.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, come here. The very best of luck. It's a fantastic achievement, and you can't count your chickens, of course. But hopefully, it would be lovely to see the two of you on in one of those games. It's a tough group, but as I say, if you're going to be the best, you have to play the best. Group B: Spain, Germany, the Netherlands, and Ireland. Thank you so much for joining us. As I say, hopefully everything goes well for you. Enjoy the trip, and I'm sure you'll do us all very, very proud.
Thanks very much.
All right, take care of yourself. Bye. Thanks so much for helping us out there. That's the two Donegal sisters, Jodie and Kerry Loughery from Buncrana. Both have been named in Ireland's under-19 squad for the European Championship finals in Lithuania. I wonder, are those being televised? That is a bandwagon I feel I could certainly jump on.
Watch the show live now on YouTube, Facebook, and at highlandradio.com.
Moving on in the programme, and we're joined on it now by Laura Boner, CEO of the Muff Liquor Company. It's a big day, Laura, and it's been a big number of years. I remember you speaking to us, I don't know, it feels like 5 or 6 years ago, just in the infancy of your company, and it has grown from strength to strength. It's really quite a remarkable story, Laura.
Good morning, Greg. Yeah, my goodness, you say 5, 6 years ago, it feels like 20. But yeah, we're here now today, and very exciting times ahead.
Obviously, it all comes down to product fundamentally and the people behind it. But what do you think can you pinpoint the secret to success?
Oh, passion and drive, I suppose. I think there was many a morning that I probably should have thrown in the towel during COVID, but just pure determination to keep going and believing in myself and believing in the company and the brand itself. It definitely helps and to keep pushing forward.
Now, today is a remarkable day in that Hollywood legend Russell Crowe is amongst those expected in Muff this morning to mark the formal opening of the new brand home for the Muff Liquor Company. What's the background to these celebrities' involvement in this project?
Oh, I actually wrote in my whiteboard before I even launched the company that I would have Ed Sheeran and Russell Crowe as shareholders. So I said Ed would be a shareholder, and I said Russell would do the first tweet when I launched into Australia, and then 5 years later I got both of them. But yeah, I just wanted them to be part of the company. And when Russell was filming in Ireland 2 years ago, not 2 years now, I managed to get a box of Muff Gin, vodka and whiskey in front of them at 10:30 on a Saturday night. And at 8:05 Monday morning, I got a phone call saying, "Are you looking for investment?" Which I very much was at that time. I was close to bankruptcy at that point, and went down and met him. We had a really good meeting, and as you say, the rest is history.
And how did you get Ed Sheeran on board?
I pitched to him too back in 2018. He wasn't able to do it at the time, but Russell and Ed are really good friends. So Russell knew about the Muff Liquor Company because of Ed. So when he got the bottles, he sent it to Ed. He said, "Look what I've got." So they had a conversation and said, "Look, let's meet her and see what she's all about." And that was it then.
Really is quite remarkable. And as you say, from the depths, as you've just outlined yourself, the company is continuing to go from strength to strength. What's the significance of this major distribution deal to the US market?
Oh, it's huge. Like, this is what dreams are made of. It's what we all aim to land as in America. So, yeah, Lewis Bowles, they're the oldest fair company in the world. They're 450 years now next summer. So to have them, they're in 110 countries, but we're launching into America. To have those guys who are so big and powerful back and support us the way that they do, it's incredible, and we're extremely honoured, and we are grabbing this opportunity with both hands. And really looking forward to the launch now in America in this October.
And when we spoke previously, you didn't want to make too big a deal about it, and I can understand that too. But obviously, the name of the brand is a little bit cheeky, shall we say. How does that travel to the US market? I'm not really sure of the terminology and what have you over there. Does the same double entendre persist?
It is. It's universal. But to honestly, once they hear the story and they taste the liquid, the name, yes, is rememberable. That's the liquid they remember more. So that's the main part of it.
And Laura, what does this sort of progression with the company mean in terms of, you know, your employment or expansion or what have you?
Yeah, of course. So we've got another 2 employees that we've got now for the brand home. We'll grow step by step. Obviously, the brand home is opening in September. We're having the official launch party as of today. Look, the whole plan is that we want to create more jobs, and we will do so. And we'll just keep expanding as we go along when the opportunity comes.
And I suppose just finally back to the origins of this company. It really sort of starts with your dad to some extent, doesn't it? And the inspiration for where you've taken.
We're not dad. No, my granddad.
Your granddad, I beg your pardon, sorry.
No, it's okay. He introduced me to his poaching many moons ago. So I just couldn't understand why we couldn't bottle it and sell it back in the day. So I just had this passion for me. So nearly 20 years. I wrote my first message to my family, telling them that I'm going to drop out of law school and I'm going to learn how to make potato vodka. So 20 years in the making, and today it's come true. So yeah, I'm absolutely delighted, to be honest.
And one very final question, Laura. I thought it fascinating that, you envisaged that you would have Mr. Crowe and Mr. Sheeran on board. Really quite remarkable that you managed to actually manifest that.
Yeah, I believe in the power of manifestation and vision and putting it out there and just going for it. So, yeah, anything I would say today that I can finally put another line through my vision board. I always said I would build a distillery in Muff, so here we are.
Anything else you want to share that we can get on board of now? I wonder.
I'm not telling you. I'm telling you, if I told you, I think this lady is crazy, as if people didn't think I was crazy beforehand. But I'm telling you, I'm going to tick off every one of them.
Wow, fascinating stuff. I'd love to get a look at it. Okay, well, listen, continued success. Congratulations to you, Laura. It's great for you, your family, the company, and also for the area, truly putting it on the map. Have a fantastic day, and we really do appreciate you talking to us this morning.
No problem. Have a great day, and thank you for your time.
Bye-bye. Okay, that is Laura Boner, CEO of Muff Liquor, speaking to us ahead of a very exciting day. Russell Crowe amongst guests who will be in Muff this morning to mark the formal opening of the new brand home for the Muff Liquor Company. This quick off the heels of the company signing a major distribution deal for the US market with Lucas Ball's company. We'll be back with more on the 9 till Noon show after we take a quick
The 9 till Noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union, with monster loans available up to €60,000 for all occasions. Visit letterkennycu.ie.
Are you ready for Cairn Community Games? Come and make some noise. Throw shapes, run, paint, cycle, sing. Take to the stage and make friends. It doesn't matter where you're from or what you're into. There's a place for you at Cairn Community Games, because together we're all in. Play your part at cairncommunitygames.ie.
Imagine a wedding venue that can be hired exclusively for you and your guests. Picture stunning views overlooking one of Donegal's most scenic beaches, an authentic country manor as your accommodation, incredible glass-fronted marquee views all day, and a team of experts who want to help you plan every step of the way. Sounds too good to be true? Not at Drumhalla House in Rathmullen. It really has to be seen to be believed. Visit drumhallahouse.ie or check out Drumhalla House on Instagram for more details.
When I got my Leaving Cert results, I was like, oh, what am I going to do now? Like, I was a little bit stuck for a while. I didn't really know what path I was going to go down. I'm so glad I did the PLC instead of going into a course that I wasn't 100% sure on. And I really enjoyed it. I'm literally recommending it to all my friends now.
Choose the path that's right for you. Choose further education and training. Learn more at thisisfet.ie.
Dreaming of a family adventure? Loganair has you covered with our Kids Fly Fare Free offer. Start planning today. Limited time offer booked by 9th July. T's and C's apply. Children aged 11 and under eligible and must fly with full fare paying accompanying adults. Book today at loganair.co.uk. Loganair, your journey, our joy.
Well, the show has been all in a show so far this morning, and that's where we're going to stay. You might remember, or do you remember, back in March, we covered concerns that there were plans to relocate the nurse from Faughan to Buncrana. The Faughan Health Centre serves the communities of Burnfoot, Inch, Tuban, Maherbeg and Faughan. There was concern that the removal of the service would impact on older people and others who would not be able to travel to Buncrana. Well, then the HSE got in touch with us and they said the HSE would like to advise that there are no plans to move the public health nurse from Faughan Health Centre, and that public health nurse services continue to be provided in the Faughan Health Centre. There are no plans at present to close any other health centres either. Now, Carmel Lynch was a guest on the show earlier in the year as well, as Carmel had started a petition to retain these services at the Fawn Health Centre. And Carmel's with me now. Hi, Carmel.
Good morning, Greg.
Thank you very much for joining us. So, of course, then we got this confirmation from the HSE. They said, no way, Jose. These services are being retained in Fawn. That's black ink on white paper. Is that the reality on the ground, though?
Unfortunately, Greg, as from yesterday, the Fawn Health Centre is now closed. The nurse has been moved to Buncrana. Well, it's been moved to Moville to cover maternity leave, and our service is now being covered by the nurse in Muff, which she has the area of Quigley's Point to Inch. So previously, if we rang the health centre number, the carers, anybody could leave a voicemail and the nurse would contact them the next morning, because that was manned from 9 to 5 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, as from yesterday, when you ring the number, you're told to ring another number. When you ring the other number, it just rings out. So that has been taken away from our carers as well. I think that we need to get this centre back opened again. We need our nurse back there to cover the areas of Fawn, Inch, and Burgea and Burnfoot at the minute. So they've taken from Fawn to Buncrana, and from Inch goes to Muff and Quigley's Point area. It's too big of an area.
Mm-hmm.
The girls don't have the availability to go on to pick up what they need from the health centre. They have no access.
Right.
And I don't understand why this has happened, because Inch has nothing. We have no shops, we have no post office, we have nothing for years. And this is our main point of contact. And to drive, for the carers to drive, Inch is a large area, Backhill, Fawn, Tubin, whatever it may be. There's a lot of area the carers has to travel to get to this. And the carers are doing the most amazing job at the minute. They're not winter, spring, summer, autumn, winter, they're on the roads. For them to travel an extra to Muff or to Buncrana or to Muff to pick up supplies that they need, it's too much for them. So we the people of the Inishowen, we need this place opened. We need our dispensary back open again, so we have access to it as a carer or as a patient.
And is there a bit of smoke and mirrors going on here, Carmel, in that they might say, well, we're not officially closing it, but if they're moving staff from there to elsewhere, is the next line, well, unfortunately, we had to cover a post somewhere else. We're actively recruiting a nurse. We're committed to the future of these services. Hopefully they'll be returned in the near future. Do you know what I mean? Is that really what we're going to get if we get in contact with the HSE, I wonder? And it will feel a little bit like smoke and mirrors. Yes, they say it's not closing, but the services simply aren't available there.
Well, Greg, it's very simple. When you have nobody working in a destination and a premises, then it's closed. HSE can say it's not closed, but it's closed. I don't know, they're pulling the wool over our eyes, I think. They're saying it's not closed because they still have keys to wherever it may be, but it's closed. You go up to the dispensary this morning, you can't get access to the dispensary. The carers can't get access to the dispensary. They have to go to Buncrana to get whatever they need. The people of the area is such a big area. Jack and myself have spoken. I spoke with Paul Cannon last night as well. We need the councillors who we voted in the last election to step up now and get our dispensary back open again. We have to save our nurse, we have to help the community, and we have to help the carers of the community to do the job they're doing. It's absolutely ridiculous. We got what we took back in March, and now to be told then 2 months later without it's closed. The nurse is gone. As from yesterday, the nurse is gone. They have no access to Fawn Clinic. None.
Just remind
and
listeners who aren't familiar with the geography, for those in that area that would be able to access services from it, how far is it to Buncrana?
Well, if you have a carer who travels from Buncrana to the dispensary, you're talking 10 kilometres.
Mm-hmm.
And if they have to go to the back of Inch, okay, you could be talking maybe 8 kilometres. So rather than going 8 kilometres back to the dispensary, they have to go 18 kilometres to Buncrana to get if they need stuff. Normally they would ring. If I was my care, I'd ring and I would say, Mary, I need help. Hubert needs this.
Yeah.
I can guarantee 10 o'clock in the morning, between 10 and 10:30, I get a phone call and say, Carmel, how can I help?
Mm-hmm.
And I would say, Mary, Hubert needs A, B, C, or D.
Mm-hmm.
She was there. She was there. If you ring, I know the carers are different from the doctors in Buncrana. I do know all that. But Greg, even to get an appointment, I rang the surgery a few weeks ago to get an appointment. I got a voicemail saying the surgery is now closed.
Mm-hmm.
Please ring this number. So I rang the number and I rang a mobile number and I says to the girl, can you answer me a question? How many doctors is on today? She goes, 2. and one for emergencies. And what I needed to get, I couldn't get because there's no doctors. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So whatever chance we have of caring for our old, we'll keep them out of nursing homes. We'll keep them in the family homes. All the old people want to stay in the family homes as long as they can. Their wish is to be at home, unless the circumstances they can't be there. So them carers are doing the job that they do. They do amazing jobs. We need to support them. We need to support our carers to do the job they do, and not without any hassle. So one carer has to leave her house at 5 to 6 in the morning to be 20 past 6 to be an inch to her first client. Like, seriously, it has to change. We need to get the support of Jack Murray and your Pádraig McLaughlin and your Paul Cannon and whoever else wants to jump on board with us.
Okay.
And we need to get the dispensary open again.
Stay there, Carmel. One of the people you mentioned is with us, Councillor Jack Murray. He's now the Cathaoirleach of the Inishowen Municipal District. We were speaking to you, I believe, was it last week or the week before, and very quickly then the HSE issued this statement assuring us that this facility was not closing, and that in fact there was no plans to close any health centres. And yet here we are, it's closed, Jack. What's going on?
Yeah, look, and Carmel's just articulated what many people over the last few days have been calling me, and this concern and worry about the future of Fawn Health Centre. I've been working on this for a number of months. Twice, Pádraig McLaughlin has put it in the Dáil record written to Minister Stephen Donnelly, and the response come back from the HSE that there was no plans to close Fawn Health Centre. As recently as this morning, I spoke to the head of service for CHO1 in this area, and they've maintained that it is staying as is, and Fawn nurse remains in situ. But that's kind of contrary to what everybody has been telling me. I've rang Fawn Health Centre this morning twice. It rang out. I've spoken yesterday to a number.
Is there a missing member of staff then? And I'm not being facetious here, because you're telling me that the person responsible in CHO1 says the nurse is in Fawn and the service is there, yet demonstrably it's not. So where is this person?
What I am fearful of is this recruitment embargo is now affecting us, trickling down, and it's hitting Fawn hardest. And that's where we need more nurses. We don't need less. We need
someone's made a decision.
Lifted.
I get where you're going with the recruitment embargo, okay, but a lot of health staff are still being employed in certain areas. That doesn't explain why it's again Fawn that's getting hit here, even if there is a recruitment embargo. We can't imagine that this all comes down to one member of staff that's not turning up to Fawn or is not in Fawn. I'm not speaking about an individual, by the way. I'm speaking about a post here. So, I get where you're coming from that, but there has to be something else behind it, because it can't be Fawn, which was the centre of closure concerns in March, that just happens to be the exact health centre now that still doesn't have a member of staff there this morning. Do you get where I'm coming from? Someone's making a decision. Someone's making a decision that even if there is a shortage of staff, that Fawn is the low-hanging fruit. But you're saying that the person you spoke to in the CHO1 upper echelons, they said to you that this is staffed and open.
They're saying that they said that the only change is wound care has been seen in Mobile. But I did say quite clearly that is not what I've been told on the ground by people like Carmel, by the home help care staff who are coming to Fawn and not able to get their bandages or whatever medical supplies they need to get out to care for people in the community as soon as possible. So there's two very different things being said here. So when I spoke and I had that conversation, I asked, can I get in writing the plan for Fawn going forward? That was agreed, and I'm happy to make that available to your station when I get it, because look, Carmel's asked quite clearly for the support of political representatives. I won't accept any reduction in services in Fawn. I want Fawn Health Centre open to provide the care that people have known for so many years, that they've become accustomed to. Because, and I said this on your show, Sláinte Care, which is national government policy, is to deliver healthcare where it's needed at the point where the patient needs it. They need it in Fawn. They need it in where they're closest to, particularly people who are sick, who are elderly. They need their health centre open, and Carmel has articulated very, very clearly why that is so vitally important.
Okay, stay there. Carmel, sorry, just if you could clarify, there's this huge gap in what we're being told by the HSE and what the reality is on the ground, Carmel. How do you know that this is a medium-term staff move, if you know what I mean. What is your information there?
The information I've received is previously, if you ring 07493 31597, you're able to leave a voicemail. And the voicemail was picked up the next morning by the nurse.
Mm-hmm.
And the Fawn dispensary was manned from 9 to 5, 5 days a week. As from 2 days ago, when you ring, a post was put on Facebook that one of the carers tried to ring and leave a voicemail for the nurse, and it didn't go. They were told to ring a different number. When you ring 07498 98601, it rings out.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't have a choice. So that service is number one, is taken away, which is very important, because if a carer is at someone at 9 o'clock at night, and maybe they know that person needs something the next morning, they know that they rang the nurse in the dispensary. That would be what them people. But that next morning, we don't have that choice now, Greg.
Okay, but Carl, just so I understand, how do we know that this is not just something for the next 2 days, and tomorrow or this evening you'll be able to leave a voice message and the nurse will be there tomorrow? What information do you have in that regard?
The nurse has been moved. The nurse has gone to Moville. Our nurse has gone to Moville. If it wasn't been closed, the answer machine would be still there. Someone would have access to it. As from yesterday morning, the nurse is gone. She's gone to Moville. We have no nurse stationed this morning. So if you go now this morning to stand outside the dispensary in Fawn, you won't get in. There's nobody there. Well, previously, you could 95. Previously, you rang it and you left a voicemail. She might turn around and say, "I'm going to I'll meet a client. I'll be back at say 10:30. I'll meet you at 10:30."
Mm-hmm.
That's all gone.
Okay.
So God forgive Greg. You know, if someone needed someone, even in Fawn or Burnfoot or Bridgend, it's not. You know, I claim Inch because that's what I'm very loyal to Inch. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
but Fawn and Inch and Birch or Bridgend and Birch, like that. If that nurse is stuck in Quigley's Point, and someone from Inch needs it, you're talking maybe a 40-minute drive.
Okay.
To the back of Inch.
All right.
Well, we need to have clarification, and I know Jack's working hard on, but we need clarification. We need black and white writing that the nurses' station is going to be manned from 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, and we have the service back up.
The thing is,
for
you
the answer
see,
machine.
the thing is we kind of have that, but the reality, Councillor Murray, there seems to be a serious information gap here. Sure,
there's
the
definitely
HSE. Sounds like the HSE's left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing. Someone's contacting you, you contacted them, and they're assuring you that this is open and staffed, right? And yet we have clear evidence that is simply not the case. So wherein lies the truth?
So there is clearly contradicting information coming out, and that's causing a huge amount of concern in the local community. So as of this morning, I've got a commitment that I'm going to get the plan for Fawn in writing, and I'm happy to make that publicly known. If it indicates reduction in services in Fawn, then we'll have a fight in our hands, because that, as I said, won't be acceptable to me. It won't be acceptable to Paul McLaughlin and other councillors in the area, and we'll fight that. So I hope to get that information today, and I hope, and I try to be optimistic that it will say that Fawn Health Centre will be maintained as it is, but look, anything less than that will be completely unacceptable to me.
All right, Jack, I'll let you go. The phone's a wee bit glitchy there. Councillor Jack Murray Cahirlock of the Inishowen Municipal District. Of course, Carmel, we're making our own contacts with the HSE to try and get absolute clarification on this. I'm not happy that we were sent an official correspondence from them committed to this centre, saying that nursing services would be continued and that there were no plans to close any health centres. And here we are a couple of weeks later. I don't want the wool pulled over our eyes either, but that's besides the point. I'm really focused on the community element of this, and we're going to get to the bottom of this one way or other, by hook or by crook. And thanks very much for rejoining us and outlining so clearly the importance of this survey, but also the reality on the ground. It's quite often different, isn't it, to what we seem to receive in emails and what have you?
100%. When you have carers coming to my place of work and they're asking me to help them, to be a voice for them, because they don't know where to turn to. I know they've been turning to Jack, but we need clarification, as I said, in black and white, that our public health centre is not going to close. And then once we get clarification of that, then we need to fight then for a doctor to be seen there 1 day a week to take the pressure off the doctors in Moncrana. We need that open the way it used to be. And we're moving forward, not moving back, Greg. So we have to, and the carers, I know the carers this morning are under pressure with everything. And I said to them, we need your support. Everybody needs the support. We need to pull together as a community like we did before with Irish Water and everything else. So we as a community are going to pull together again to get this on the ground. So we get the community centre back open, the health centre back open again, and move forward with it. Okay. And please God, Jack will have writing black and white, and you yourself will have some clarification today as to what's going on. But the main concern is we cannot close our public health centre.
All right, Carmel, thank you for that. Appreciate it. Carmel Lynch there. And if you want to back Carmel publicly on that, please, if you're a carer, and I know it can be complicated in that space, but if you are a carer or anyone else affected by this, get in touch with us. We don't want Carmel to be a lone voice either. I do understand, though, it's difficult sometimes for people to speak out. Our contact details, 086 60 25,000. That's WhatsApps and texts. Or give us a call on 07491 25,000. And whilst this might sound like it's an individual we're talking about being moved from one place to another, it's got nothing to do with them. All right, they're just employed and told to go where they go. We know that, by the way. So, but just to be absolutely clear on that, this is a management issue, management decisions, and that's where the focus is 100%. A caller says, we're training more nurses than ever. They're all heading further afield and down under after being trained up. Same thing happened with newly trained doctors too. There is certainly an element of that, of course. I'm not sure what the retention rate is versus the training rate, if you know what I'm saying. But anyway, back with the weather after these.
The 9 till noon show with Letterkenny Credit Union, now offering mortgages from 40,000 to 600,000 euro with no hidden fees or transaction charges. Letterkenny Credit Union, 9102127.
Do you need a UK address? Save hundreds of euros on custom charges shopping online with Space Hub Dairy. We provide a full virtual address mailbox service for all your business and personal use. Save hundreds, possibly thousands, on custom charges with Space Hub Dairy. Call 048 71 87 8077 for more details.
At Vodafone, we've just been awarded Ireland's best mobile network for the 9th year in a row. It's because we're committed 24/7 to making it the best network for you, so you can rely on Vodafone for the important things, you know? Like Sunday video calls with your best friend, staying in touch with the things that really matter in the family group text, or watching a 24/7 live stream of penguins at the San Diego Zoo. Go on, you know you want to. Vodafone. Together we can. Certified by Umlaut. See Vodafone.ie for terms.
Best staycation ever. 4 best mates, 60 minutes from home. 10 thrilling zip lines. 8 breathtaking views. 4 coffees to catch a breath. 1,000 metres into a wondrous cave. 3 echo. 1 incredible day. Plan your best staycation ever at discoverireland.ie and experience the feeling of a holiday all in one day. Brought to you by Fáilte Ireland.
Highland Radio weather updates brought to you by McElhenny's. Support a local Donegal business with McElhenny's. From fashion to home essentials, find everything you need for any occasion. Shop McElhenny's Ballybuffet for quality you can trust.
So, cloudy today and mainly dry at first with just isolated showers. Scattered outbreaks of rain and drizzle will develop this afternoon. Highs of 14 or 15 degrees in light to moderate south to southwest winds. Okay, a couple of things I want to mention ahead of 10 o'clock. And just to remind you, the Community Garda information is coming up for you just after 10. Of course, you can listen to that in Radioland if you want to watch it. Search us on YouTube or Facebook or X. I want to mention Father Sean Doherty, a previous occupier of this chair of sorts in different times. 10 to 1, wasn't it? Today's the first anniversary of Father Sean Doherty to be the priesthood, or to the priesthood. I can't believe it's a year. This evening, he'll celebrate Mass in St. Eugene's Cathedral in Derry at 7:30 p.m. Everyone is welcome. A nice milestone, your first year as a priest. Best wishes to Father Sean. Now, just a reminder of you, I can't string 2 words together, a reminder for you of a public information session. We mentioned this on the show previously. It is in the CDP, Narossan, Chapel Road, Dunlow. It is the 2nd of July this evening at 7 p.m. And anyone who's affected by defective concrete blocks, or those who think they may be affected, are invited to attend. Do you want to know more about the issue? What's next? What steps do you need to take? What should you be doing now? What shouldn't you be doing now? Members of the Redress Focus Group will give a talk on aspects of being a homeowner with defective concrete blocks. And I know it's difficult if you have these cracks and you look at them and you think it's settling or bad plaster or whatever it might be, but perhaps if you dig down, deep down, you know that it's probably is defective concrete. Certainly worth going along to that meeting and chatting to others perhaps who are in the same position, getting some advice and finding out where to go to next. That's tonight in CDP Narrowson, Chapel Road, Dunlow from 7 p.m. We'll be back with more in the 9 till noon show after we take a break for the news and the obituary notices.
The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union, offering low-rate car loans with fast approval. Apply online at letterkennycu.ie or in office today.
PDO thread lifts and skin boosters, which rejuvenate the skin by improving facial contours, lifting and tightening the jowls, neck, cheeks and eyebrows, are available at Genesis Aesthetics and Skincare Clinic, Gweedore. To choose the right aesthetic treatment for you, contact Mary Ferry, your aesthetic practitioner. Also offering fat-dissolving treatments, dermal fillers and laser treatments for all skin conditions. Hair and makeup packages also available. Genesis Aesthetics and Skincare Clinic, Gweedore, 07495 325 75.
Donegal's premier summer event, Errigal Arts Festival, brings you fantastic events for all ages and backgrounds this July 13th to 28th. Enjoy award-winning music, theatre, circus, visual and street arts from the offshore islands and West Donegal Gaeltacht to the lowlands of East Donegal and the shores of the Inishowen Peninsula. Visit eaf.ie for full details on the Errigal Arts Festival, proudly supported by Donegal County Council.
Buying or moving home can be a strange mixture of excitement and stress. So the last thing you need is worrying about conveyancing. Time to call McElhenney & Associates. They'll move that property transaction along swiftly, make sure everything's in order and prevent any nasty surprises. Residential, commercial, leasing or voluntary transfer, call today on 074 917 5989 or find us online. We'll do the paperwork, you do the wallpaper. McElhenney & Associates Solicitors, Stranorlar. How can we help?
Join us at the Lennon Festival, Ramelton from the 4th to the 15th of July. Enjoy live music from the Tumbling Paddies, Robert Mazzell, Jimmy Buckley and more. Don't miss out on family fun and exciting events like the Soapbox Derby, kayak fun and a spectacular fireworks display. See Lennon Festival on Facebook for a full list of events.
Live, on air, online and on the Highland Radio app. This is Highland Radio News.
Good morning, it's 10 o'clock. Donald Kavanagh at the news desk. The Infrastructure Minister in Northern Ireland is recommending that the Executive proceed with the A5. John O'Dowd made the announcement in the Northern Ireland Assembly last evening in response to a question from West Tyrone MLA Nicola Brogan. John O'Dowd said following a report from the Planning Appeals Commission, he'll issue papers to the Executive and await their response. His intention is to have final approvals submitted next month.
I can confirm that at this morning's executive meeting I briefed executive colleagues that in the coming days I'll be issuing them with my initial response to the Planning Appeals Commission's report. I will also be making a recommendation that we proceed with the A5. I am conscious that this is a cross-cutting issue, so I will issue the papers to my executive colleagues. I will await their feedback and then I will submit a further paper for mid-August for their approval on the moving ahead with the A5 project.
The Taoiseach says both sides in the Aer Lingus dispute will have to compromise for the row to be resolved. It comes as the Labour Court prepares to conduct a formal hearing tomorrow into the pay dispute between unions and management. Industrial action has been ongoing at the airline since last Wednesday. Speaking before Cabinet, Simon Harris urged both sides to end the dispute.
I think everybody needs to remember as they go into these talks that I don't think there's ever been an industrial relations dispute that's resolved without two things, engagement and compromise. That is the key ingredients to solving any dispute. The question for both parties to the dispute, are they willing to do that now, or do they wish to put the travelling public through significant chaos and then ultimately end up doing it anyway?
However, Michael Doherty, Professor in Employment Law at Maynooth University, says there may not be a solution to the dispute in the short term.
I doubt by the end of this week somehow, but which then of course may knock on into next week. But you know, things are getting serious for both sides. So hopefully we'll see some sort of intervention either through the court or maybe through you know, other sources, as in kind of higher informal political interventions.
Donegal, Dublin, Cork and Kerry are among the counties where thousands of homes will be needed by 2040. Data from the ASRI suggests population growth in all major towns and cities across the country will result in an overall population of 6.1 million by 2040. Between 25 and 53,000 new homes a year will be needed to cope with the increase. Paul Egan is a research officer with the ESRI.
We consider three demographic assumptions or a baseline scenario around demographics, where net immigration is 35,000 per year to 2030, and we also have a high international migration. After we make the population projections, we also account for change in typical household size, and then that gives us projection of housing demand up to 2040.
Donegal has the most sheep in Ireland. The Department of Agriculture has published the results of last year's sheep and goat census. It shows there were 6,584 flocks in the county, comprising a total of 526,658 sheep. Donegal was followed by counties Mayo and Kerry. Almost €300,000 in funding is being shared by 17 local agri-food tourism projects across the country, with €12,500 going to the Donegal Community Chamber. The funding is being made available under the 2024 Rural Innovation and Development Fund, operated by the Department of Agriculture, Food and the Marine. Announcing the funding, Minister Charlie McConalogue said the Food Vision 2030 strategy highlights the natural synergy between agri-food and local tourism. And the Taoiseach says it's very worrying that there are so many cases of violence against women. Micheál Martin was speaking as he praised Blonde D'Reilly for speaking out after her rapist was jailed for 8 years. He says deeper analysis is needed to find out why the rate of violence against women is taking place at the rate it's taking place at the moment. The Taoiseach says we need to figure out what's driving some men to commit these crimes.
Really, we have to go back to the drawing board in respect of education and so on, and the culture we are creating that is in many ways producing men who are creating such violence and doing such violent acts. And I think it's appalling and reprehensible, but we need to really reflect on what is driving this violence and what is driving this depraved activity.
Weather today, cloudy, mainly dry at first with just a few isolated showers. However, scattered outbreaks of rain and drizzle will develop in the afternoon. Top temperatures today 14 or 15 degrees Celsius in light to moderate southwest to west winds. And that's Highland Radio News. We're back with news headlines again at 11 o'clock. But for now, from the news team, good morning.
The obituary notices this Tuesday morning, July 2nd. The death has taken place of John Gallagher, John Jimmy John, of Upper Cotteen Derrybeg. His remains will repose at his home today and tomorrow from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Rosary nightly at 8 o'clock. Funeral Mass on Thursday morning at 11 a.m. in St Mary's Church, Derrybeg. Interment afterwards in Maharagallen Cemetery. The funeral mass can be viewed live on Kieran Rorty Funeral Director's Facebook page. Housed private after the rosary and on the morning of the funeral. The death has taken place of Sadie Sweeney, Strand Road, Bunbeg, originally of Ardveen Crawley. Her remains are reposing at Rorty's funeral home Derrybeg today from 2 p.m. until 8 p.m. Rosaries at 8 o'clock. Funeral Mass tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. in St Mary's Church, Derrybeg. Interment afterwards in Maharagallen Cemetery. The funeral mass can be viewed live on Kieran Rorty Funeral Director's Facebook page. The death has taken place of George Robinson, Noble Gortley Letterkenny. House private to family and close friends, please. Service to celebrate the life of George will be held at his sister's residence, Sylvia Robinson, Gortley Letterkenny, at 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, followed by interment in Gortley Cemetery at 3 p.m. The death has taken place of John Doran, 1 Cole Hill, Newton Cunningham, reposing at his daughter Josephine and son-in-law Declan McDade's home at Kellyverry, Newton Cunningham. Funeral leaving there tomorrow morning at 10:15 for 11 o'clock Requiem Mass in All Saints Church, Newton Cunningham, followed by interment in the adjoining cemetery. Rosary tonight at 9 o'clock. Family time please from 10 p.m. tonight and before the funeral tomorrow. Family flowers only please. Donations in lieu to Surgical Ward 1, Letterkenny University Hospital, care of any family member or Terence McClintock Funeral Director. The death has taken place of Maura O'Donnell, Clonbeg, Buncrana. Maura is reposing at her late residence. Funeral leaving there at 10:15 tomorrow morning, going to St Mary's Church, Cockhill for Requiem Mass at 11 a.m, with burial afterwards in the adjoining cemetery. Funeral Mass can be viewed live on churchservices.tv. Family flowers only, please. Donations, if desired, to Donegal Hospice, care of any family member or Porter Funeral Directors. The death has occurred of Charles Kerr, 19 St John's Park, Buncrana, and formerly of Letcher Erris, Clonmany. Funeral Mass this morning at 11 o'clock in St Michael's Church, Erris, with interment after in the adjoining cemetery. The funeral Mass can be viewed live on churchservices.tv. The death has taken place of Billy Forbes, 43 Millhaven, Sion Mills, and formerly of Strabane. Requiem Mass is ongoing at the Church of the Immaculate Conception, Strabane. Cremation afterwards in Lakeland Crematorium, Cavan. Donations in lieu of flowers, please, to Hope House Ireland. The Requiem Mass can be viewed live via the parish webcam. The death has taken place of Anne Dunnigan, 48 McNeely Villas, Letterkenny. Anne's remains are reposing at her late residence. Funeral from there this morning for Requiem Mass in St Eunan's Cathedral, Letterkenny at 11 a.m, followed by interment in Lex Cemetery. Funeral Mass can be viewed on churchservices.tv. The death has taken place of Philip McDermott, Drumley, Glenealy. Philip's remains are reposing at his home. Funeral from there at 10:20 tomorrow morning for 11 o'clock funeral Mass in St Mary's Church, Bocken, followed by interment in the adjoining graveyard. Funeral Mass can be viewed on kildavparish.com. Family time from 10 o'clock tonight. Family flowers only, please. Donations in lieu if desired to the Donegal Hospice, care of any family member or Eamon McLaughlin Funeral Directors. The death has occurred of Bernard Barney Carr, Cabinteely, Dunleary, County Dublin, and formerly of Balnacrick, Fanad. Removal from Shanna Fanad this morning at 10:30, going to St Mary's Church, Fanavolti, Fanad for 11 a.m. Requiem Mass, with burial in the adjoining graveyard. Family flowers only, please. The Requiem Mass will be streamed live on the McAteer Funeral Directors Facebook page. For family information and more details regarding wakes and funerals, please go to highlandradio.com.
We all want to restore our world's natural environment. But where do we even start? How about right here? With SuperValue Tidy Towns, we can reimagine our local areas. Every time we rewild, every time we strengthen biodiversity, every time we support our SuperValue Tidy Towns volunteers, that's real action. Because at SuperValue, we believe that every local action makes a global impact. SuperValue. Real food, real people, real action.
The county's #1 talk show, the 9 till noon show on Highland Radio.
And you're very welcome back to it. It's Greg Hughes here with you for the next 2 hours, and we have community guard information coming up for you shortly, and so much more besides, and some of your comments too to get through. This listener says, I fully support Carmel and Jack. I'm 21 years a carer. It is a big physical space, and being done from the area, there can be family or community problems, and the nurse was always there to speak to. Rural Ireland is being forgotten about again. I spoke to the nurse and she said that her last day was Friday last. Buncrana and Muff don't have the capacity to deal with this. The HSE won't even tell us what is going on. Well, we are pressing the HSE for a response this morning. My mother is 96 years old and lives in the Fawn area. She's very concerned about losing the service at the Fawn Health Service. And as Carmel said, we need a doctor there even 1 day a week. It's just not good enough losing essential services in this area. Another, if they want a nurse to stay in Fawn, why can't we get a doctor back to Fawn 1 day a week as we used to have? That seems to be part of the campaign. There is an embargo. When nurses retire, they're not replaced. It is only going to get worse. Us health staff can't speak out as we're not allowed to. Nurses aren't able to come back who are abroad. There are problems there. Greg, can you find out what happened to the lady who was giving a report on RTE News last night and fell down when she was doing it? Well, she wasn't given a report. She's from the Dublin Rape Crisis Centre. And to be honest with you, I was watching it, and as someone who I can't talk to what actually made her collapse. She fainted. I mean, that was pretty obvious. But you could see that she was struggling a little bit as the question was being asked. I wouldn't be surprised if she was a little bit anxious, because I did, as I was watching it, recognise some of the symptoms, so to speak. She's fine. She got medical attention. The cameraman ran to her aid and she's okay. She fainted there. I don't understand why Glenveigh is closed for a few days, as there are plenty of staff and tourists around. Well, the staff, I suppose, have to be specific to that role, do they? But anyway, Tuesdays and Wednesdays, it seems. I donated blood regularly until I developed diabetes in my 40s. Okay, I hope that's going okay for you. Unfortunately, you can't donate any longer. Why don't they hire more staff at Glenveigh? Or are Minister Noonan's proclamations about supporting Glenveigh just talk? If the castle is not open in summer, then will it be open? Then when will it be open? This is deliberate to run down tourism in Donegal. Who exactly decided to close the castle, name and shame? Well, they're not shy about it. They say they had to close it because of staff shortages. Congratulations to Kerry Jodywell, gone to Buncrana Hearts. That's from Tony McNamee. I think I've read that correctly. Pius Hegarty's in Burfoot, a popular guy this morning. He's celebrating his 70th birthday. So happy birthday to you, Pius, from us here. Others texting in, though, also to wish you a happy birthday. All your grandchildren, they've been in contact. Also, Morgan, Jaden, Lorraine and Charlene have all been in contact to wish you a happy birthday. 70. Hopefully you're treated well today. Right, we're going to take a break because we do need to move on, and we're going to get to Garda Gráinne Doherty and Community Garda information after we take the bingo numbers.
It's time for Vision Ireland Bingo on Highland Radio.
It's Tuesday, July 2nd. Playing on a brown sheet. Reference number is S12. It's week 27. Today's numbers are 43, 89, 64, 30, 12, 77, 53, 6, 52 and 86. Phone your claim to 9104833 before 8 tonight, leaving your name, contact number and the name of the shop where you purchased your book. Get all your Vision Ireland bingo information at highlandradio.com.
Have you ever dreamt of meeting Manchester United legends like Jaap Stam? Well, at Letterkenny Rovers on July the 26th and 27th, you can. 10 United legends will be there for a special meet and greet, challenge football match and gala dinner. Tickets are now limited and available through letterkennyroversfc.ie or Brian McCormick Sports and Leisure.
With over 1,000 TFI Local Link door-to-door services nationwide, if you're on our route, we're on our way. To use the service, simply pre-book the day before you want to travel with your TFI Local Link office. To find out more about door-to-door services in your area, visit transportforireland.ie. We're Transport for Ireland. We're Transport for you.
The 9 till noon show with Letterkenny Credit Union. Simplify your debts with a debt consolidation loan from Letterkenny Credit Union. Call us on 074 910 2126 or apply online via our app or in office today.
The Community Garda information slot is brought to you by Sheridan Security Systems, protecting what you value most. Call today and get your zero-wire alarm system from €299. Sheridan Security, 91-26025.
Okay, it is Community Garda information for this Tuesday, the 2nd of July, and we welcome into studio with us Garda Gráinne Doherty from the Letterkenny Garda Station. Good morning, as always, Gráinne. Thanks so much for joining us.
Good morning,
appreciate
Greg.
it. Right, okay, we've got a lot to get through. As we always do, we'll start with the appeals. And Gardaí seeking the public's assistance as they investigate an assault in Buncrana.
Yeah, so Gardaí are investigating an alleged assault. This occurred in the early hours of Sunday, the 2nd of June, in and around 3:30am at McGinn Avenue in the town of Buncrana. CCTV has been viewed. Gardaí have spoken to a number of witnesses already, but they're eager to speak with a number of other witnesses who are believed to have been in the area at the time. They're appealing to anybody who may have information in relation to this incident to contact them. Any road users who were travelling in the area of McGinn Avenue in the early hours of Sunday the 2nd who may have dashcam footage, as always, they're asked to make this available to the Gardaí. Anybody with any relevant information may contact Buncrana Garda Station on 9320540.
And you were very clear, obviously, but that's a month today, effectively, a calendar month today. So it's the 2nd of June we're talking about.
The 2nd of June, the Sunday, the early hours, in around 3:30 a.m. at McGinn Avenue.
Okay, let's stay in Buncrana and investigations ongoing into an attempted burglary.
Yeah, so this Gardaí are investigating what is believed to have been an attempted burglary in a house in the area of Doonwood in Buncrana between midnight and 9 a.m. on Monday the 24th of June. So the door handles on a set of double doors downstairs were damaged. The handle was actually lying on the interior on the floor inside the house, and damage was caused to the outside of the door also. Nothing was taken, entry wasn't gained to the house, but we're appealing to anybody who may have seen any suspicious activity in the area of Doonwood on Monday the 24th of June overnight between midnight and 9 a.m. to contact Gardaí in Buncrana on 9320540.
And another attempted burglary in the Buncrana area.
Yeah, and quite a worrying one, this one. We're appealing for the assistance of the public again. This is another attempted burglary at Clonblasc, Buncrana, on Monday, very recent, Monday the 1st of July at about 3:15 a.m. So the doorbell was rang a number of times, I think 3 to 4 times in the house. The homeowner obviously didn't answer at that hour of the morning. They didn't answer the door. The intruder then proceeded to the rear of the house. There was an unlocked bathroom window. The homeowner could hear this intruder trying to open the window. At the very, very frightening incident for this person, you know. So the intruder tried to open this unlocked window. The homeowner then shouted out, said they were going to contact Gardaí, and the intruder left immediately. We're appealing to anybody who may have been in that area between 3 a.m. and 4 a.m. with a dash cam to make that footage available to us. That would be invaluable to us if somebody had dash cam footage from that area. And if anybody can assist with any relevant information, that would be welcome. And we ask them to contact Gardaí in Buncrana on 9320540, or, as with all of our appeals, the Garda Confidential line 1800 666 111.
And I suppose we can all learn lessons from this instance, and I suppose redouble our efforts to ensure our homes are secured.
Of course, yeah, and I know a lot of people probably do leave some windows on the latch, maybe at night time, particularly in the summertime. You know, it's a bit stuffy in the house, and they do. But sometimes incidents, unfortunately, and thank God nothing was taken in either of these incidents, but they serve as a reminder just to secure your property, just maybe to brush up on your security around your home. Make sure, especially when your house is going to be unoccupied or when you're going to bed, make sure windows and doors are well secured. Don't leave large amounts of cash in your home. Keep an eye out for neighbours. This is an important one. Please do. Anybody especially who's vulnerable or who lives alone. Going back to the olden days when everybody watched, you know, they run out of each other's houses, and that's kind of died out. Some people don't really know their neighbours anymore now, and it's sad really. But if you do know that somebody's living on their own, particularly in your neighbourhood, please do keep an eye out for them. And always, if you ever see any type of activity, vehicles, people in your area who seem out of place, just something's not sitting right with you, please do contact us immediately.
Exactly. You're not wasting Garda time, and you're not a curtain twitcher. The reality is we do have to work with Gardaí to keep our communities safe. You know, we are the eyes and ears. We're the ones out there, as well as the Gardaí, of course. Okay. You're not seeing any particular pattern in the show, and it's just a happenstance that we're talking of two burglaries there. They are separated by quite some time.
They are, of course.
But listen, wherever you live in the county or the region, the same advice applies, of course. It's not specific to one particular area. Let's go to Killygordon next.
Yeah, so Gardaí again are appealing for the assistance of the public. This theft occurred in a yard at Enclaren. So there's an estate there in Killygordon called Enclaren. So there's a yard in that estate. There was a lorry parked up, and a theft occurred between 2 p.m. on Friday the 28th of June and 9 a.m. on Monday the 1st of July. So over the course of the weekend, really. The lorry was parked up. The lorry was entered, it was unlocked. 2 lorry batteries were stolen from within, and a generator ground hopper was also stolen from the rear of the lorry. So we're appealing to anybody who may have observed any suspicious activity in that area between that time frame to make contact with Gardaí in Letterkenny on 9167 100. Again, this generator ground hopper possibly would have needed transportation of some sort of trailer or a van, so we're hopeful somebody might have some information that can help.
Yeah, and that's sort of retrospective, isn't it? Because you might just think it's the lorry owner. But now what we're saying is that if you saw activity during these times at that lorry, this is probably when the theft occurred.
Yeah, well, I would say that this yard in particular would be usually, I'm guessing, the type of yard that it would be unoccupied most weekends or all weekends. So it would be highly unusual to see activity in around that yard in particular over the weekend.
All right, okay. We were speaking to the owner of the Donegal Donkey Sanctuary following this instance. Obviously, Gardaí are investigating it. What details do you have?
Yeah, this is a recent attempted theft, and it has been widely publicised. People are probably already aware of it. A recent attempted theft from the donations box at the Donegal Donkey Sanctuary. The sanctuary is located at Castledewey, Raphoe. On Tuesday, the 25th of June, in around 8:30 p.m, a white car pulled up along the roadside, and a man got out, walked up, and it's quite a long lane up to the sanctuary car park. That's where the donations box is located. So this man made the long journey up to the car park. Luckily, the owner spotted him, came out, challenged him, and he left, headed back down the lane again on foot. The white car then left the area immediately. Thankfully, again, in this instance, nothing was stolen. The man in question had a heavy build. He wore navy tracksuit bottoms, a black hooded coat. He had the hood up and wore a red beanie hat under the hood. His face was covered. He wore white socks, black runners with some red along the heels and the sides of them. We're appealing mainly to any road users who may have travelled on any of the back roads, any of the roads round the Donkey Sanctuary, and on the N14, the Letterkenny to Lifford Road at the turn off there for the sanctuary. Anybody in that area who had a dash cam to make that footage available to Gardaí. If anybody's seen this man maybe on foot or that car, the white car in the area, we also wish to hear from them. Gardaí can be contacted in Letterkenny on 9167100 in connection with this incident.
I don't want to get all CSI on this, but I mean, you know, maybe they were in a local shop in the area and maybe they have CCTV. Maybe the number plate could be identified from that. It's, you know, people can think outside the direct appeal as well if they think they have any information that might be of use to the Gardaí. Right, okay. Critch Island next.
This was only recently reported to Gardaí. Now, it was only actually recently realised that this theft took place, but it was quite a unique one, so I added it into the notes. Just Gardaí and Dunloe are investigating a theft. This occurred at Critch Island. It's over the past number of months, so between the start of April and the end of June. So, as I said, they only recently realised that this theft had occurred, and it was only reported to us this week. So, access was gained to a locked container. The lock was broken on the container, and they got in. A large quantity of show jumping equipment was stolen. Items stolen included 12-foot poles, cups, show jumps. And this equipment, I believe, would have required a couple of trailers, at least one trailer, definitely a large trailer, if not two trailers to transport it. So we're hopeful, really, look, the people that are involved in the show jumping business, if they've come across any type of, you know, any sort of show jumping equipment in recent times over the past few months on a second-hand basis for sale, we're hopeful somebody might know something within that kind of inner circle, you know, that might have some information for us. If anybody, of course, over the last, I appreciate it's quite a wide time span, but if anybody noticed any activity that seemed out of place on Critch Island over the past few months and they haven't spoken to Gardaí, we would appreciate also if they would give Gardaí a call and let them know.
Yeah, with 12-foot poles, you're either on a flatbed or very awkwardly strapped to a trailer or something. And I can't imagine there's a massive movement of this type of product on the secondary market. You know, I'm not saying it doesn't come up, right? But if this stuff has been offered recently, I would suggest it's probable that it could be these items.
Well, we're very hopeful somebody has come across it for sale. And look, maybe they have come across items for sale which are totally legitimate, and that's okay too. We can check that out also, but we would certainly like to hear from them. And any locals, you know, if they have noticed any activity over the past few months, let us know. Gardaí and Milford are dealing with this one, so they can be contacted on 915 3060.
And I'm not talking as to whether or not this property was marked or not, but this is a perfect example of good property to get marked.
Of course, yeah.
Isn't it? Because if that turns up in Wicklow,
it'll be, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's when we talk about, just to let you know, when we talk about property marking events, and as I say, this is not, I don't know whether it was or wasn't, but it's a good reminder that this is the type of stuff that would be quite difficult to identify potentially, but property marking would make it simple as pie.
Yeah, it highlights the importance really of, you know, going to the property marking events when they are advertising, getting your property marked. Yeah,
that was a good thing.
That was quite good.
Thank you very much.
I'm just reiterating now what you said.
I agree with you. I think you're 100% right. I think you made a very good point.
Yeah,
there.
We've actually 2 property marking events coming up, but they're advertised on our Facebook page.
Okay.
I'm trying now to remember the times. I think the 16th of July at Harold Yard on the Glenfin Road in Ballybuffet. It's on there between 4:30 p.m. and 8:30 p.m. and it's on at Homeland Lifford between 10:30 a.m. and I think 4 p.m. and around 4 p.m. So if anybody does want to get their property marked, just when we're talking about it anyway.
And while we're at that too, like, I know I talk about cameras a lot, right? But there are very good cameras. I have them, and they're actually available locally as well. If you have broadband in your house, be it a holiday home or whatever, and they have really, really good detection on them, either outside or inside. You know, pop one on if you've a holiday home or you're out, pop one on the kitchen counter it alerts your phone straight away as soon as it detects any movement at all, and lets off a siren as well. You can get them cheaper online, but I know one store locally, they have the 45 euro. You get the
they're
easy
quite inexpensive, really.
Exactly. You get the EasyViz app on your phone, right? You set it up, and you can deactivate or activate it, simple as pie, even if you don't want to go to the bother of screwing it to a roof or whatever. But have one pointing at your double doors at the back, one at your front door. And as I say, you don't even know it's there, but if it so happens that there is movement or whatever, and they're not stupidly moving, it's not like a fly or something will set them off, you get a notification straight to your phone, 45 euro the hour. You don't have to pay any subscription or anything. You put a memory card in, they'll record. I'm not here to sell them or whatever, but I'm just thinking if there was someone listening and it gave them a bit of security, because we talk about this stuff, and it's just a little thing that might help. But as I say, I have about 5 of these. I use them for child monitors and different things, but they're if I'm away from the house, stick it on. As soon as the postman lands, my phone goes off.
Even in relation to what we were speaking about a few minutes ago, in relation to people living alone, and if anybody has maybe family members or elderly parents living alone, it's something that could be considered by the family.
But you can
also,
talk
maybe
between
to
it as
install.
well. You can talk from your phone out through these cameras.
Oh, you can, of course,
and back
the
the way.
door.
But these little cheap ones I'm on about.
But
I know you get the fancy doorbells, but
you don't have to have it doesn't even have to be fancy. You can get them quite inexpensively. But it's something that could be considered for people that live alone. Maybe a family would consider. It would give elderly people especially, it would give them that sense of security.
Right, sorry, just whilst we were talking about property marketing, and I've mentioned that a couple of times, but I know people that did it and they feel a bit safer in the homes, and then that makes me feel a bit better about myself. Criminal damage in Buncrana next. This was on the 19th.
Yes. So on Wednesday, the 19th of June at 3:20 a.m, Gardaí responded to a call from the fire service for assistance. They were at the scene of a car fire at the Courtyard Apartments in Buncrana. The car in question was destroyed as a result of the fire. It hasn't been ruled out that this fire may have been started maliciously. So we're appealing to anybody. If anybody has any relevant information in relation to this incident, we ask them to contact Gardaí in Buncrana on 932 0540. If anybody again travelled in that area with a dash cam between 1 a.m. and 3:15 a.m, we ask them to make that footage available to us, please.
Now, Gardaí in Letterkenny investigating an RTC.
Yes, this is a collision that occurred between a pedestrian and a car on the R250 just out at Ballymacool, quite close to where the Aura Leisure Centre is, along that stretch of road there. On Friday the 28th of June, it happened between 6:10 p.m. and 6:15 p.m. So the pedestrian was walking from the town towards Ballymacool Park on the footpath when the collision occurred. The car was described as being a small red hatchback. It was travelling in the opposite direction, so in towards town. The driver of the car didn't remain at the scene. The pedestrian was injured. They did receive medical treatment for non-life-threatening injuries, thankfully. We're appealing to anybody who we did speak to witnesses already, but we're appealing to anybody else. It's quite a busy stretch of road and we think there may be more witnesses to this. So if anybody's seen what happened, we're asking them to contact us in Letterkenny on 9167100. And again, as always, I become repetitive now, but dash cam footage of this,
for sure.
It is crucial. It's to our investigations. If anybody had a dash cam and they were on that road between 6 p.m. and 6:45 p.m. on that date, again, we're asking them to please make that footage available to us.
And finally, staying with the roads, down in the Ballyshannon district, dangerous driving, alleged dangerous driving being investigated.
Yeah, so we're not now going outside our own division in this one too much, but this vehicle in question was within the Donegal division too. So Gardaí are investigating a number of alleged incidents of dangerous driving. These occurred between Tubbercurry and Bundoran, just on the main road, between Friday the 28th of June. So it happened between 6:30 p.m. and 7:30 p.m. So the vehicle involved in these incidents was a red or a maroon coloured Toyota Auris, and it had a partial registration number of 08DL. Someone has been arrested in connection with the incidents, but we're appealing to anybody who may have observed the manner of driving at any stage of that journey between Tubbercurry and Bundoran to come forward and speak to us. If anybody travelled along that busy stretch of road with a dash cam, again, we're asking them to make that footage available to us. Gardaí may be contacted in Ballyshannon on 071 985 8530 if anybody has any information that can help.
All right, and I believe I actually did see images of that
yes,
post on social. I don't know if you have them.
I do.
Sure.
I
okay,
do,
that's
yeah,
fine. That's no problem.
Yeah.
Okay, we could have done that off air, but just in case, I could have sent you the links. Okay.
Thank you.
Right, Garda Reserves. Final reminder, is it?
I know. This is definitely becoming repetitive now, isn't it? But listen, the
Becoming
closing date
This
is
is becoming the new Garda Youth Awards.
It is becoming the yeah. We had a couple of information stands for the Guard Reserves there during the week in the courtyard and down at the
Big interest?
Letterkenny Shopping Centre. We had a lot of interest.
Really? Great.
A lot of people
Okay.
are very interested. So just in case, and there are people who took leaflets from us and said they'd consider it. So for those people or anybody else who hasn't heard, there's a Garda Reserve recruitment campaign on at the minute. The closing date is looming. It's coming up on the this Thursday, actually, July 4th, 3 p.m. That's the closing date to apply. Anybody at all can go to our Facebook page, Garda Síochána Donegal. There's information there about the recruitment campaign, or garda.ie if they want to visit that website. If they want to apply, they have to go to publicjobs.ie and has to do it before 3 p.m. on Thursday coming.
Yeah, to do lots of stuff. And we saw that too at the International Rally. Of course, a lot of reserves came up from down the country.
Good, yeah.
Right, a question. A man was asking for a knife to cut carpets in a shop yesterday. Did you hear this question yet?
I heard the question.
Okay, right, that's okay. I don't want to spring it on you. The side of his head was all cut and he was clean dressed. He went to another shop and asked for a knife again. I rang the guards as I was scared something would happen to him or he'd harm someone else. They put me through to Gardaí in Cork. Something could have happened between then and being serious. No wonder there's so much crime if we can't even get through to our local Garda stations. I'm not sure if it would have been Cork. Is it not Galway? But
It's
anyway,
Galway, yeah, it is Galway, yeah.
But be that as it may. So I'm not. I'm not sure if this question is about the incident itself or how we sort of report these incidents to Gardaí, but you can take it how you wish.
I would imagine, well, I'm guessing, reading between the lines, it sounds like that caller is probably concerned about the amount of time maybe that it took for the guards to respond to such an urgent call. You know, I would imagine that's what their worry was. So I just want to give a wee quick overview. I'll not leave it long drawn out about the Garda Safe call system. So in February 23, a new computer-aided dispatch system is called Garda Safe. It was introduced to Garda Síochána. So this new system is designed to enhance and improve our response and to allow more efficient use of our resources, thereby ensuring that the public receive the best possible response. Garda Safe sees all calls requiring the dispatch of a Garda resource handled by a number of regionally located control centres. So that's what happened in this instance. Our regional control centre is Galway. These control centres are staffed by trained call takers and call dispatchers. So do you know what? I'll give you a quick overview of what happened. So people, if they were ringing in a call back before that date, before February 2023, they rang, say, Letterkenny station, for instance. They give all the details of their call over the phone to the guard. They give their name, their number, the details of the call, and the call was dispatched from there, and that was it. So this new call system, what it means now is when you call your local Garda station, if you require the dispatch of a Garda resource, so a patrol car, an unmarked Garda car, if you require the guards to come out to anything at all, the call will automatically be transferred to this call centre in Galway by whoever you call in Letterkenny station. They transfer it automatically to Galway. The call taker then in Galway handles the call. They have access to the screen. They can see where all of the resources are. Everybody clocks in and out, logs in and out, details what duty they're on that day, car, beats, wherever. So they have the county in front of them on us. They can see who's where at what time, who's available, who's already on a call. So therefore, they're in a position then, they prioritise the calls. I would imagine, I can't say for definite, I would imagine a call like that would have been prioritised. It would be top priority. It sounds fairly urgent. They prioritise the calls. They dispatch the units depending on where they see where everybody is. You know, so they're in a better position really than us to see where the nearest car is. So actually, it does. It actually speeds up the response, if anything. So if the call is priority and it is something of an urgent nature, they're in a position to see who's closest to that location and who's available to get there the fastest. Really is you know. So I can understand the frustration of that caller. You know, they possibly thought that they were transferred to another county, and then how many hours or how long is it going to take then for the guards to respond? But that wouldn't be the case. So this call system, it doesn't interfere with how the public interact with us. All Garda stations remain open to the public. You know, they can continue to contact us in the normal way. They can phone the station, email, or visit their local station.
This is how resources are dispatched and used.
This is how, yeah. So every guard, when they come on duty now, logs on and they allocate themselves maybe to different car numbers. You know, they say if they're on this car, another car. If they're on the beat, maybe they're at a meeting that day, so they have to log in and say they're at a meeting. So the call takers in Galway can see.
So say, for instance, then there's a Garda checkpoint in Termon. Yes. Someone calls in and says there's an assault happening in Creasla.
Yes.
The dispatcher can look at that screen and say, right, we've got guys, boys and girls, interim, and they're the closest to respond to that, they can be dispatched to that point rather than someone from Letterkenny going up.
Of course, yeah. So if it's a priority call, if it's of an urgent nature, they would dispatch that unit because they're in effect. Then it actually means that you're getting a quicker Garda response.
But they're able to see on the map where the resources are. So this local knowledge thing is not really quite as important because they see the specifics of Donegal on this map.
Yeah, and they can see who's closest to that location at any given time, so they can dispatch them in a quicker manner. Yeah. So just at the end, I want to make sure that people know that they always, regardless of what call system's in place, if it's an emergency, 999 or 112, these calls in are linked directly to, again, the Regional Control Centre, and they will send the fastest and most suitable Garda unit to that call.
Or whatever emergency services required for that
Exactly,
matter. Okay, interesting, informative. Thank you very much indeed. That's Garda Grania Doherty. That was Community Garda information for this Tuesday, the 2nd of July. It's back for you after the 10 o'clock news next Tuesday.
The Community Garda information slot is brought to you by Sheridan Security Systems, protecting what you value most. Call today and get your zero-wire alarm system from €299. Sheridan Security, 91-26025. The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union. Digital loans now available. Apply online or via our app today and get your loan transferred directly to your current account.
Virgin Media is rolling out 2 gig full fibre broadband to more and more homes across Ireland. Big homes, little homes, haunted houses, big gaffs in the country, non-bouncy castles. Number 16, Oxbow Lake Houses. The house with all the cats. To get Ireland's best broadband, check your address at virginmedia.ie. Virgin Media, it's playtime.
T's and C's apply. See virginmedia.ie. Subject to availability. Ireland's best broadband. See virginmedia.ie/proof.
Tesco Clubcard gives you the power to more. Score a banger with our Summer of Sport pizza meal deal. 2 pizzas and 2 sides for just €12 from our exclusive Crust and Crumb takeaway range. Tackle dinner easily with a takeaway classic crust bangin' barbecue chicken pizza. And slam 1 in or even 2 with 2 slamming sides, including takeaway buzzin' garlic dough balls. Get more from your shop with your Tesco Clubcard or app. Shop in-store or online. Tesco. Every little helps. Subject to availability. Prices vary in express stores.
Darren knows these roads. He knows every turn, every tree, every person's house. He knows when he wants to put his foot down. But here's something he doesn't know. He doesn't know that Jim is searching for his phone and has taken his eye off the road, just around the corner ahead. Darren doesn't know this. But they're both about to find out very quickly. Even if you know the road, you don't know what's coming. Say no to speeding. A message from the Road Safety Authority. Visit rsa.ie.
There's Monster Bingo tonight and every Tuesday night at Mulroy Woods Hotel, Milford. €3,250 must go. Doors open at 7:30. Bingo starts at 8:30. That's Monster Bingo tonight at Mulroy Woods Hotel, Milford.
Okay, now we're joined on the programme by Dawn Grieve, a volunteer manager with Foyle Search and Rescue. Good morning, Dawn. How are you keeping?
Good morning, Greg. I'm good. How are you?
I am doing fantastic and delighted to be able to hopefully help because Foyle Search and Rescue are currently looking for operational volunteers. These are people who patrol Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights between 9 p.m. and 3 a.m. So tell us more about the role, and then I suppose we'll get on to a little later who this might suit. So what does this role entail?
Yes, so Greg, this is probably the main role that we have within the charity, our operational volunteers. As you said there, they patrol the banks of the River Foyle 3 days a week from 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. every morning. So they're there to help prevent life in and around the Foyle. So if they come across anybody in distress, they are the individuals who will speak with those people and bring them to a place of safety, whether that be through getting a family friend to come and get a person or pass them on to the emergency services, whether that be the PSNI or the ambulance service. So that would be the main role of the operational volunteer.
And worth recognising the 94 volunteers that already do this work. That's a remarkable number, really. I mean, talk about serving your community. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, so we have an amazing bunch of volunteers there. As you say, the 94 people, that spans across everything from fundraising to educational talks to our operational volunteers. The time and commitment that these people give is just amazing, and we can't thank them enough for the dedication that they show to the cause. They're just amazing people.
And I suppose too, it's difficult, isn't it? Because the fact that it's required and these services are used and people, are assisted Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights, 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. It does talk to a wider issue, doesn't it, of the scale of people that feel desperate or in a position where they might be considering their options in this area. It really is remarkable that there has to be such a response to that.
Yes, it is. And look, there is help out there for those individuals. I think when we meet people, they feel that there is no options there. There is a lot of help and support out there. Ourselves, we've launched a project called the Lighthouse Project, which you'll see throughout Derry, Londonderry. It's basically an NFC sticker which a person can scan, and there's endless helplines and for all kinds of stuff, from addiction to abuse helplines to suicide, mental health. There is lots of services available. It's just unfortunately people don't know about these services or don't feel that they can access these services. So we're there to be that link to inform people of these services and help them in their moment of need.
Okay, in terms of the volunteers that you're looking for, you're not actually asking for a huge commitment, but it does make a huge difference as part of the wider team. So really you have to be over 18, probably doing one night a month, full training. And obviously if someone is deemed is accepted, there's obviously full training given as well to know how you might deal with people and what have you.
Absolutely. So there is quite an intense training program. Obviously, the nature of what people deal with, we want them to be prepared for these scenarios that they may come up against. So there is quite an intense 4-week program, which is sessions across radio training, client approach, first aid, mental health first aid, and we have wellbeing services available for our volunteers as well. And it's just making sure that they know, yes, you're there to help people, but we're also there to help you. And it's such a good network of people that we have here in Foyle Search. It is like a big family. We're all here to help each other for the situations that they do come across as well. But the training that the volunteers have available to them is really good training as well.
Yeah,
so
it's excellent training too. And the role is really to engage with someone who may be in distress, to remove them from any potential danger, and then signpost them to the relevant services, be that the police, the ambulance, or whatever it might be. So if someone has a night a month and wants to be part of this team, they're over 18, I presume in reasonable good health, because there's quite a bit of walking involved in this. By the way, you don't do it on your own. You go out in teams of 3, don't you? There's a walking team, a boat team, or a mobile team. So if anyone is over 18 and wants to give a little bit back to the community, committing about a night a month, joining a fabulous team of individuals that are already there, how do they go about applying?
So at the minute, we're looking for an expression of interest. So all you need to do is go on to our Facebook page. There is a live Google form link there. You fill out your email address and your contact number. You must be available for our open night. So we're having an open night here at our base next Monday, the 8th of July at 7 p.m. And that's just to give more information about exactly what it is you will be doing. It allows a prospective or a potential volunteer to see, right, is this for them? Is it not for them? Before they actually make that commitment of moving on to the next stage. So we welcome people to do that expression of interest and come to our open night then.
Excellent stuff. So I hope you get a huge response. Check out Foyle Search and Rescue Facebook page, or Google them. And as I say, we're not looking for a huge commitment, but you can make a huge difference as part of an overall team of volunteers. Dawn, it's been lovely speaking to you. Thank you very much for your time.
Lovely speaking to you. Thank
All
you
right,
very much.
take care of yourself. Bye-bye. Dawn Grieve there, volunteer manager with Foyle Search and Rescue.
The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union, with monster loans available up to €60,000 for all occasions. Visit letterkennycu.ie.
The moment you got told the good news.
Rob, you made the panel.
When the lads added you into the group. skipping nights out, missing the crack, rewatching classics and learning new tricks, being driven to the biggest game of your life by your mam. And then you finally come on in the 51st minute. It's the minor moments that last a lifetime. The Electric Ireland GAA Minor Championships. This is major.
Do you need a UK address? Save hundreds of euros on custom charges shopping online with SpaceHub Dairy. We provide a full virtual address mailbox service for all your business and personal use. Save hundreds, possibly thousands, on custom charges with SpaceHub Dairy. Call 048 71 87 8077 for more details.
Here's some maths you'll like the sound of. Get 20% off school uniforms at M&S. From polos that look new for longer to shirts that are easy to iron, they're durable, responsible and hand-me-downable. Shop in store or find more online at marksandSpencer.ie. Terms and conditions apply.
Michael Murphy Sports has you covered for all your training and matchday essentials. From GAA training jerseys to shorts, socks, mouthguards, gloves and top training equipment. Hone your skills with multi-sport goalposts or sharpen your aim with football and hurley rebounders at michaelmurphysports.ie.
Highland Radio weather updates brought to you by McElhinney's. Make your sterling go further with our new cash sales exchange rate at €1.20 for every £1 spent in store. No matter the weather, visit us in Ballybuffet for all your fashion, beauty, gifting and homeware needs this summer.
Right, cloudy today, mainly dry at first with just isolated showers. Scattered outbreaks of rain and drizzle developing this afternoon. Temperatures 14 or 15 degrees in light to moderate southwest to west winds. We're joined in studio now by Paul Penrose and Leanne McLaughlin, both of you. Thank you so much for joining us. How are you all keeping?
Very good, yeah. Thank you very much for having us.
No, it's good to talk to you. Broad na Gaeltacht 2024 kicks off this coming Thursday. Leanne, do you want to tell us a little bit about it first?
Well, Paul is a director for Broad na Gaeltacht, so I might let him tell you that. I'm the
very,
director
very
of
good
Crane.
early pass. I like it. This is like Wimbledon here. First serve, good return. Paul, what's the story?
Thank you, Leanne. Yeah, we're kicking off on this Thursday, the 4th of July, with our third Broad na Gaeltacht Festival in Falcarra. It's our third one, so we're still it's still baby feet or baby steps. But we've got 4 full days of fantastic events aimed at the LGBT community, for the LGBT community, but also for all of our allies, all of our local community, and all of our beautiful friends in Donegal and further afield to come and hang out in Donegal and enjoy some fantastic events, and of course our parade on Saturday the 6th.
Leanne, do you want to tell us some of what's coming up?
So we have an array of activities going on.
And a great little booklet, by the way, as well, too.
The booklet's beautiful. That we have the Irish Drag King Collective, which are on the Friday evening. Misha is a short film which looks at untold stories in the community, in the LGBT plus community and their allies, which will be on Sean Varrick. We're trying to kind of reach out to as many elements within the community and to create a space and a safe space for people to come in and enjoy the activities that we're running. There's a lot more. I mean, we have
our own Inishowen finest, Jen McCarran, coming from Inishowen Pride, who's coming on Friday evening to give our keynote speech.
And this is all kind of really recently. It's not that long ago that we saw the first Pride March in Buncrana. This festival's in its infancy, really, I suppose, in the wider scale of things. It's baby steps, but it's quite recent, really, some of these developments that we're seeing now, Paul.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was only 3 years ago that we had the very first Pride in Donegal in Inishowen, and funnily enough, I only found out about it by seeing Jen here. It might have been with yourself that she was talking to. So I found out about Inishowen Pride the same way that Jen found out about us in Falcarra. So it was all happening individually, but
So really, I'm a matchmaker.
You are, yeah. You've got some sort of fairy dust or something.
Sprinkle it all around me all the time.
Yeah. So yeah, we it was a very zeitgeisty sort of a thing that happened, and now we've got as you can, this year we've got 4 Pride festival events happening, in Ashone, Falcarra, Letterkenny, and also in Bundoran. So, it's growing and it's great. And, I think it's really, a sign of the times, really,
Do you think there was a particular significance in establishing this in the Gaeltacht, which primarily, I think, is far removed maybe from the more urban areas, which maybe felt for some people like more safe spaces, or where they could feel they could live be their true selves, or whatever way one might want to phrase it. Was there a particular significance in that marrying sort of the Irish-speaking community, the queer community, and sort of the rural community?
Absolutely, and I think that's a really important point to make. That what we wanted to do was to be able to have a celebration in our own community. I'm born and reared in Falcarra and Gorahork in the Gaeltacht, and most of us that are involved in Broad and in Thorazur, and we wanted to be able to bring a celebration home. We wanted to bring our own community out with us, and to be able to share with our community, the fantastic event that Pride can be. But of course, we're in a rural area, and it's not the same as a Pride that you get in Dublin or Belfast or Derry or wherever, the bigger cities. This is a very much a different way of celebrating, because we're coming from a background of storytelling from Gaeltacht, culture and heritage, and we have a different way of sort of bringing our sort of identity to life and to the community, and we're kind of sort of influenced by our landscape, our environment, our small communities, and our way of talking to each other.
But all these things aren't mutually exclusive, and it means you don't have to go away somewhere else and hark on about where you come from. You can celebrate who you are, where you're from. Leanne, I'm not going to get political at all in this, but we are seeing a situation where certain events are being cancelled here, there and everywhere. There seems to be a big pushback on this month. It's quite notable, really, that I think how it's marketed and discussed has changed dramatically. That's evident. Obviously, we're not going to see this is not going to affect this, that and the other. But, when you look at the broader landscape, this is about sort of people being who they are, where they want to be. But we seem to be regressing a little bit in that regard. Or Paul, maybe you want to come in on that one? I don't know. I don't want to lump that on either of you.
I think I'm on the board in Broad, and I think that what we're trying to focus on is the positive impact that it has in the community, and not look at the negative things. It's all about making it an inclusive space for everybody, and that's really, really important, and celebrating everybody's individuality. We every small rural community in Donegal, anywhere in the country, has a varied and diverse individuals within these small units, and if we can celebrate and encourage them and empower them to be able to say, this is who I am and this is what I'm about, and it's good, it's all good, then that's what we're happy about. We're not going to focus in any way on the negative.
Yeah, and it's like the support that we have is just immense, and it keeps getting bigger.
See, sometimes
growing,
even that question is an opportunity to actually highlight the reality rather than the perception, Paul. Do you know what I mean? It's not really based in negativity as such, but maybe that is completely not the experience of this festival, which I think has to be celebrated too, if that is the case.
Yeah, well, and we do have to be realistic, and we have to, be aware, and we are very aware of, some of the pushback that can happen out there, and there's a lot, we're very lucky, there's I'm sure there's a lot of other areas that don't have that same support, and if we can be a little bit of a beacon of how to sort of demonstrate an inclusive community and a diverse and rural area, then we're achieving something.
Well, there's stuff still to be figured out, isn't there?
Absolutely.
Really, you know what I mean? Just and generally speaking, in all of our spaces.
And it's about creating a space to be able to have those discussions.
And this festival, even albeit in its infancy, got great attention. Obviously, we talked about the local impacts and all of that kind of stuff, but it was picked up, wasn't it, in the media nationally and internationally as well, which I'm sure is pretty welcome.
Yeah, we won Event of the Year last year at the LGBT Galas in Dublin, which was a huge surprise to us all because we hadn't even...
Who are you kidding?
No.
Who are you kidding?
It just did come out of the blue. You know, we were really up against a lot of other,
top class events.
And it was a great night out in Dublin, and it was great to be able to get up on the stage and speak Irish in the Mansion House to a room full of Irish LGBT community groups, and to be able to have that visibility. It was great.
Yeah, and listen, every day's a learning day, as to say, you frame this yourself. It is for the queer community, but also allies or people that maybe want to learn a little more. One example here is a film called Misha. It's a short film which delves into the untold stories of our community of LGBTQ plus and allies. Do you know what I think is an awful that's often lost in all of these conversations that we have, and especially with the negative tone, which I'm not going to go back to, Leanne, under your direction. But it's mums and dads and grannies and granddads who adore their kids, right, and would do anything for them, and they're living their life they're living, and they actually really don't get an awful lot of voice, and there's thousands of them listen to us right now, and it actually hurts them because they care so much about their children. I'm not saying it's a perfect scenario all of the time, don't get me wrong, but they don't often get a voice in the texting shows like this, and it breaks their hearts when they hear some of the phraseology and terminology because they can't really advocate as they might want to for their loved ones.
And maybe that's it's something that can come out of this as well, that we can bring a parade to a lovely rural area that all of the grandparents, aunties, uncles can all come out, and if you don't want to be part of the parade, you can just sit in your car and wave the flag. It's there's no pressure on anyone.
It's intergenerational in the parade itself. We have like a 7-year-old child, and we have, I would say, people in their 70s.
Okay, so it's Broad na Gaeltacht there. There's a lot going on. Where's the go-to place? I suppose you can get your hands on the booklet. Is there an online resource there as well?
There's a QR code on the back there. You can get all the tickets at it, and you can go on to www.broadnagaeltacht.ie as well, and you can get the full programme there.
And it runs from this Thursday to Sunday.
Yeah. And Art in the Park or Alwyn Safari or Cruinniú le
Cruihu. I'm the director in Tursur. So this year, Tursur is an arts collective that's set up, and we run a festival, an annual event yearly, where it is predominantly to promote the creation and support artists in the area. So we run like a sculpture trail, we have workshops, we have young singers coming through like Ella Fitzgerald, but this year we have linked on with Broad na Gaeltacht. So Tursur is very involved in being an inclusive space for all artists. So this is why Broad na Gaeltacht, some of the artists from Broad na Gaeltacht that have been commissioned to create pieces will be showing their work in Art in the Park. So that's in Ballyconnell, a stage in Falcarran that is on from 1 to 5, and it's on Sunday. Yeah. So Broad na Gaeltacht finishes up the big parade on the Saturday, and then on the Sunday, Tursur is on for the Cruinniú Cruihu.
All right, Paul, thanks, Leanne. Really appreciate you calling, and thanks for coming over. Have a wonderful few days.
Thank you very much. I hope you can come over and join us.
Fingers crossed. Always looking for something to do at the weekend, to be honest with you. Right, okay, Paul, Leanne, we'll be back with the news a little later than advertised. And also what we'll do is we'll link on our social medias to the information relating to what we've just been talking about. So check that out if you want more info.
The 9 till noon show with Letterkenny Credit Union. Simplify your debts with a debt consolidation loan from Letterkenny Credit Union. Call us on 074 910 2126 or apply online via our app or in office today.
New this week in Home Store and More. All summer duvets are all half price. That's right, half price. But better hurry, because when all these half-price summer duvets are gone, they're gone. Also, all camping and all indoor clothes areas are still all half-price. But when all the half-price camping and all the half-price indoor clothes areas are gone, they're definitely gone. Drop by your local Home Store and More. Visit us online at homestoreandmore.ie. Home Store and More. A happy home.
All right, everybody gather round. Alex, welcome to the office. Now, why don't you tell everyone a fun fact about yourself? Maybe 2 or 3. You know what? Keep them coming. I'll tell you when to stop.
Changing jobs can be scary. Changing health insurance doesn't have to be. If you're worried about waiting periods or loss of coverage, we're here to help. Get the information you need on hia.ie. There's only one authority on health insurance, and it's us, the Health Insurance Authority.
Join us for a 10-hour Iyengar yoga retreat in Ards Friary, Creasla from 5th to the 7th of July. Enjoy yoga, meditation, country walks, sea swimming and delicious food. Limited spaces, book now, email anniesyoga@yahoo.ie. That's ANNIES yoga@yahoo.ie.
Join us at the Lennon Festival Ramelton from the 4th to the 15th of July. Enjoy live music from the Tumbling Paddies, Robert Mazzell, Jimmy Buckley and more. Don't miss out on family fun and exciting events like the Soapbox Derby, kayak fun and a spectacular fireworks display. See Lennon Festival on Facebook for a full list of events.
And Sean's nipped into the bar for a quick chat with the work crowd. He won't stop. He has a match in the morning. But wait, a nod from the barman. There's Guinness 0-0 on tap. The chats are back on. Sean is in full swing and a fresh pint is handed over the bar. Guinness 0-0, 100% Guinness, 0% alcohol. Proud partner of Croke Park Stadium and proud partner of the GAA.
Visit drinkaware.ie.
With all the stories that matter across the Northwest, it's Greg Hughes on the 9 to Noon Show on Highland Radio.
And listening to that little bit of commentary actually leading up to the news there, you may or may not be aware that tickets for Donegal v Galway go on general sale at 3 p.m. this afternoon. So if you're looking to go, there should be plenty of tickets. Will we fill Croke Park? I don't know. All right, let's take a news update at a couple of minutes past 11. It is a little later than scheduled. My apologies, but nonetheless, Donna Marie Doherty's here.
Thanks, Greg. Good morning. The Infrastructure Minister in Northern Ireland has recommended to proceed with the A5. He made the announcement in the Northern Irish Assembly yesterday afternoon in response to a topical question by West Tyrone MLA Nicola Brogan. Minister John O'Dowd said following a report by the Planning Appeals Commission, he will issue papers to his executive colleagues and await their response with a view to having the final approvals submitted by mid-August. Gardaí are investigating 2 attempted burglaries in Buncrana, one of which happened a week apart. They're not believed to be linked at this time. The first occurred on Monday the 24th of June at a home in the Dunwood area between midnight and 9 a.m. Door handles on a set of double doors into the home were interfered with and damage was caused but entry was not gained. Meanwhile, Gardaí are also appealing for information into a separate attempted burglary in Buncrana that happened in the early hours of yesterday morning. An intruder tried to enter the home and fled when the homeowner made themselves known. Almost €300,000 in funding is being shared by 17 local agri-food tourism projects across the country, with €12,500 going to Donegal Town Community Chamber. The funding is being made available under the 2024 Rural Innovation and Development Fund, operated by the Department of Agriculture, Food and the Marine. Announcing the funding, Minister Charlie McConalogue said the Food Vision 2030 strategy highlights the natural synergy between agri-food and local tourism. People involved in show jumping are being urged to report any suspicious offers of items for sale after a theft of equipment from a container on Critch Island. It emerged this week that some point between the beginning of April and the end of June, a locked container was broken into and a large quantity of show jumping equipment was stolen. The items taken included 12-foot poles, cups and show jumps. The equipment stolen would have to be transported by more than one trailer. Witnesses to a hit and run in Letterkenny are being asked to come forward. A person was struck by a car in the Ballymacool area on Friday last between 10 past and 6:15. The small red hatchback failed to stay at the scene and the pedestrian was treated for non-life-threatening injuries. And finally, Gardaí in Buncrana are investigating a car fire at the Courtyard Apartments in the town a fortnight ago. The blaze was reported just before 3:20 on the morning of Wednesday the 19th of June. The car was destroyed as a result of the blaze, and Gardaí and the fire service say they have not ruled out the possibility that it may have been started maliciously. That's all for now from Highland Radio News. Back with more at 12.
OK, Donna Marie, thank you very much indeed.
Ah, nothing like chipper chips by the sea, coated in salt, vinegar and...
Single, get off! Yikes! We interrupt this typical summer moment for just a sec to let you know from the 4th of July, Aldi's Back to School's got the whole uniform sorted for under $5. We're talking a 2-pack of polo shirts, skirts or trousers for $1.65 each, plus cardigans or sweatshirts, only 99¢, with our 12-month satisfaction guarantee, so you can get back to summer. Get your own chips! Go all Aldi while stocks last.
Okay, you're welcome back to the programme. Really appreciate your company today. Did you know, I'm sure you do, it's 50 years since Finn Harps won the FAI Senior Cup. And it's Captain Jim Sheridan is the guest of the Letterkenny Community Heritage Group, who are having a night of remembrance this Friday, the 5th of July at 8 p.m. in Dillon's Hotel, Main Street, Letterkenny. Over his 14 seasons at the club, he played 397 times for Finn Harps. Not bad. Jim Sheridan, good morning to you.
Good morning, Greg.
How? Good morning, Jim. How fresh in your memory is that occasion?
Well, it's quite fresh, believe it or not, because it was a momentous occasion for Finn Harps to get to the final of the FAI Cup in that particular year, and actually won the cup. We had an interesting journey to that cup final, because it's worth mentioning that the first match was at home against Home Farm, and we won handy enough. I think it was 4-1. The second match was against Bohemians in Delymount Park, and Bohemians were a very, very good side in the day, as we were. But at the end of the 1-1 draw in Delymount Park, and we were lucky. And in fact, I always say, and I'm saying it here and now on air, that Jerry Murray kept us in the cup because he got off a couple of great saves in that match when the score was 1-1. So that left us coming back to Ballabafay for the replay, and we won that match 2-0, and Charlie Ferry scored both goals. So that left us then going to Delymount Park for the final at the end of April of 74.
Well, Jerry Murray is one of the guests on Friday night, so I presume he'll be expecting you to say that again, Jim, in his earshot in front of the crowd.
Well, I'll certainly say it in front of the crowd, because I've said it consistently. Yeah. And again, I think all the players that played would appreciate the fact that he's the last line of defence, and if he had been beaten that day, we would have been out of the cup at that stage. But we didn't, and we won. We got through to the final, and I suppose it is history that we won the final against St. Pat's 3-1, and it was a great occasion. Totally. Basically unexpected in a lot of ways, because, Finn Harps, unfortunately, in the early days, we were the whipping boys of a lot of people in Ireland for our geographical location, number one, and number two, the fact that we were a team that came in, let's say, from junior football and in the main, and acquitted ourselves very well over the years. So I was there for I went there in 1970, I was there to 83, so it was 13 years there. Loved every day of it, it was great, but the cup final was the pinnacle of it all. That was certainly great. I just must say this in case something prevents me from saying it again. We had a very, very good team in those days. Very, very good team from back to front, and reserves as well. So it was a pleasure to play with them, it was a pleasure to know them, and it was a pleasure to still be very friendly with them.
Yeah, because over the course of a run like that, everyone has to play their part, don't they, Jim? At one point or other, you highlighted Jerry's contribution, not just in that game, of course, but throughout the run. But to achieve what you've achieved, everyone has to play their part collectively, but individually at times as well.
Well, that's so true. A team is a team, and that's what it's all about. And basically, we had some great players, and Charlie Ferry scored in every round in that cup. And Brendan Bradley, of course, top goal scorer in the League of Ireland, still is, I think. And he was always there to the forefront scoring goals, and the rest of us were doing our best to prevent the goals from going in, not conceding many. And it was a team operation. I can still see Peter Hutton running up the left wing, passing into Chang Smith, and Chang Smith crossing the ball, and Brendan Bradley burying it in the net. Things like that never leave your memory. So it was a team effort every step of the way.
So in sort of more modern day football, when we see successes, be it in the Premiership or wherever it might be, often it's kind of rooted in money. Do you know what I mean? Money comes in, you can strengthen the team and have a good run. What was the difference in that season for Finn Harps? You said no one expected you to do it. Did you expect to do it, or what happened that season that allowed you to achieve such a fantastic achievement as a team?
I would simply say we were peaking to a degree, because we had the same team, let's say, through a lot of years. and we were picking, and we were confident that we were going to win that match because we would have played St. Pat's before in the league that year, and we felt we were a better team than them, and we felt we were capable of beating anybody. And of course, we had Patsy McGowan as the manager, and he was a great motivator. And basically, we were all playing for Patsy and playing for the people of Donegal as well, and playing for ourselves because we wanted to win the cup, and that was all that was keeping us going, really.
Mm. You talked about the amount of time that you played with Finn Harps, 13, 14 seasons. There were European appearances and all of that, but you've just got no doubt that the winning that cup was the pinnacle of your time with Harps.
It was, there's no doubt about it. I would have played in Europe, and we all would have played in Europe, and they were big occasions as well. We were runners-up in the league on 3 or 4 occasions, and that meant that we were playing in the UEFA and League and Europe. So we would have played in Derby, would have played in Aberdeen, would have played in Bursaspor in Turkey, and probably another one somewhere along the line that I can't think about. But so it was great to be playing in Europe as well. But certainly, and I was very proud to be playing in Europe because you were representing Ireland in a foreign country. And the national anthem was being played. We played in Holland as well at times, but so it was a very interesting time to be at Finn Harps, yes, and it was collective effort, yes, and basically we achieved great things. Probably underachieved to a degree that we didn't win that league because we had a good enough team to win it, but the small teams could take points off us when we shouldn't have been losing points.
Yeah, I get you. And anytime I speak to footballers that have had great careers like yourself, be it Shay Given or any of them really, Packy Boner is another example. I always get reminded and given out to that I didn't remember where they got their start. So we have to mention the fact that before you went on to have this amazing career with Finn Harps too, you were playing with Rathmullen Celtics. Is that correct?
Well, that's very true. It all started there. I was born in Rathmullen in 44, so I'm an elder lemon now, and basically I was brought up in a very simple environment in Rathmullen. Football was all we had to do, play on the beach or play on Kerrs Bay Green. And basically that was where it all started. And then we were all hoping that eventually we would get playing for Rathmullen Celtic, which eventually we did. And went on from there to play. And I can remember my first game for Rathmullen Celtic as if it was yesterday in the final of semi-final of the Milford Cup. And I was in simply because Father Mick Sweeney, who was the right half in that team, got injured, and I was shoved in at right half. And we beat Letterkenny in the semi-final and beat Kildrum Tigers in the final. So that was the first real step up in my career. And then I was down in Sligo the same year. Patsy McGowan was the goalkeeper in that team. And basically somebody got injured and I was there, but I wasn't to play. But Patsy McGowan convinced my father that I should play, and the story goes that my father wasn't anxious that I should play. He didn't think it was good enough, I suppose. But Patsy persisted, and I played, and I played quite well. I know myself I played quite well, even though we lost the match 2-1. So basically, that's where it all started. And then I played with Swilly Rovers in the FA Junior Cup in 1967, I think it was 67 or 68, and we got to the final of that, and we won it. We played the first match in the final in St. Pat's Ground in Dublin, and we played the replay, which was a draw up in Dundalk and Oriel Park, and both those teams wanted to sign me to the League of Ireland. That was like, it was a shot out of the blue, and so I signed for St. Patrick's Athletic for a very simple reason. I suppose Donegal were closer to Dundalk that time, and that we had close affinity with the directors in Dundalk. But why did I sign for St. Pat's? I signed for St. Pat's because they're very simple. They told me straight out they were reorganising their team after a cup final defeat, and they said, if you sign for us, you're playing in the League of Ireland on Sunday. So I did sign for them, and I played for them for 3 seasons. So that's how I got into, I suppose, senior football.
Yeah, indeed, fantastic story. Nowadays, obviously, players are often wrapped in cotton wool in terms of injuries and all that kind of stuff. Jim, in your playing career, I presume you're pretty much just patched up and sent out, were you? And that's always also, I presume, going to have an impact on how long you can play at that high level.
Well, it is. I'm struggling this morning now, believe it or not, with a hip problem, sore hip. But I walk 3 or 4 miles every morning before 9 o'clock. And but by and large, I still have the same 2 knees and I still have the same 2 hips as I had when I was playing. And anybody who saw me playing will be saying to themselves, "How did you manage that?" Yes. Because I didn't stand back. I didn't stand back from too much. But having said that, I suppose it's fair to say that in the day, you minded yourself the best you could. But Finn Harps what do they say? Finn Harps, there were trainers there, and they did their best to patch us up if necessary. And we patched ourselves up as well, I can assure you, during the week or whatever it was. So it was a different time, like, and I suppose it's fair to say the physios weren't as professional then as they are now, but they were very, very good, and they kept us together, and we kept ourselves together, and we minded ourselves too, Greg. Like, basically, there was no. I didn't drink, I didn't smoke, and I minded myself. I went to bed in time at night, and those are very important things when you're looking to be training and playing football on a Sunday at a fairly high level.
Listen, I could sit listening all day to the stories, to be honest with you, Jim. So if anyone is like me, and I'm sure there are thousands out there listening, get along to this fantastic night. It's a night of remembrance this Friday, the 5th of July. It's at 8 p.m. in Dillon's Hotel, Main Street, Letterkenny. Guest speakers include our guest Jim, James Nichol, Bartley Ramsey, Jerry Murray, who you heard referenced by Jim there. Patsy McGowan, former Finn Harps manager, also referenced. Kevin Bradley of Highland Bakery, he's sponsoring refreshments, and it's open to everyone, and everyone's welcome. And you know what? I think if you just like listening to, there's going to be just some great exchange of information, because you mentioned, and I think it's lovely, that you still have really good relationships with some of the players that featured with you in that momentous win 50 years ago. That's lovely, isn't it?
That's very, very true. And basically, I consider them as friends, always did. Another thing that's very important to mention, I'm honoured, really, and I'm not a glory hunter, but I'm honoured to have been included in the celebrations on Friday night by the Letterkenny Heritage Group. So a great thanks to Johnny for inviting me to do that, or to go there with all those people who were great friends. And I don't consider myself to be, I can assure you, anything any more superior than the rest of them, because they were all good players, very good, equally entitled to recognition as I am. I'm there as the captain of the team, and I suppose it's a great thing to get that honour. Yeah. But I can tell you, when I was a young fellow in Rathmullen in 44 growing up, I never expected to be interviewed by Highland Radio about achievements.
No, listen, it's fantastic. And you know what? It is a night celebrating you, Jim, but it's other people that want to celebrate it too. So you sit back and enjoy it. You've earned it. This can't be true. You never played in the Connacht Championship for Leitrim, did you? That must be another Jim Sheridan.
I'm laughing, Greg, because I did. I did play in the Connacht Championship for Leitrim. I did.
At what point in your career was that?
Well, the circumstances were slightly unusual. Basically, there's a bit of a story there too. When I joined the Guards in '64, the ban was in place, so we weren't allowed to play Gaelic football. We did play a bit in the Guards College, all right, but so when I came out to Mohill and Leitrim, and I couldn't play with the local GA club, but the ban was lifted a few years later, and I was playing with the local GA club called Clun, and I won an intermediate medal there with that particular team. Now, I wasn't even in the county panel, but Finn Harps went to America in 1973, yes, but just before the cup final. And I had been playing in Leitrim Gaelic Football Club at that stage, so I came back anyway. The first thing I got was a phone call from the county board asking me would I play on Sunday against Mayo and Carrigan Shannon. And I said, I haven't played Gaelic football in 3 or 4 months now, and I wouldn't be up to the standard of that. And they said, oh yeah, well, you have to, because we have nobody else for centre field. And so that was where the story went. And I played. Now, we were well beaten by Mayo, whacked in fact. But having said that, we were never going to beat Mayo. They were the days of the Lord of Mercy and John Morley and Johnny Kerry and people like that. So we're very, very strong. But to crown it out, I'll have to tell the story because, well, people would tell it anyway. I missed a penalty during the game.
Ooh.
But it was a bit like Ronaldo last night. I didn't miss the penalty. The goalkeeper saved it. So I make that distinction. Now, I never took a penalty in soccer competitive at senior level in my life, but they all said, oh, the soccer player will take it. I had never trained with him. I'd never even trained with him. The soccer player will take it. So I thought I hit it very well, actually, but the goalkeeper made a very good save. That's what I'm saying anyway.
Yeah,
exactly. I'm always remembered Leitrim for that, but at least I didn't miss it.
I'm not sure if what's more interesting, the goalkeeper story or your comparison to you and Ronaldo, Jim.
Right.
But come here, it's funny you mentioned Jerry Murray, and I'll tell you, if he was watching that game last night, that I've never seen 4 saves, the penalty in extra time and the 3 penalties as part of the penalty shootout. Those weren't misses. Those were 4 unbelievable saves, weren't they,
yes,
Jim?
Yes. And I'm a bit disappointed. A lot of people, including soccer people, are talking about Ronaldo and the fact that he cried after missing the penalty. I mean, there's pent-up emotion there, and every one of us are emotional. He had that penalty to win and get into a particular round in that particular championship, and he missed it. And I could understand very well, I can tell you as a player, why he might be emotional, why he might shed a few tears, because I can tell you if it was me was there, I'd be shedding a few too. Well, I can't remember whether I shedded any in Carrick-on-Shannon the day I missed the penalty. I don't think I did.
So 73, you played against these legends for Leitrim in the Connacht football final, and a year later you had the FAI Cup over your head.
That's right.
That's a story for you for Friday.
Just wait on a second to see now to get the years right. Yeah, it was 73. We came back from America in 74. We won the cup. That's exactly true.
What a fantastic story that is in and of itself. All right, brilliant stuff, Jim. Listen, it's people want to celebrate you, so you're just going to have to accept it on Friday and take the plaudits. Have a fantastic night, and it's been a real pleasure to speaking to you. And as I say, I could do this for another couple of hours, but we must move on. Jim, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much, Greg. Delighted to be able to be here.
Take care of yourself. Fantastic, Jim. Bye-bye. Take care. 50 years since Finn Harps, captained by Mr. Sheridan there, won the FEI Senior Cup. And it's a Letterkenny Community Heritage Group having a night of remembrance. Some great people there, as I mentioned, James Nichol, Bartley Ramsey, Jerry Murray, Patsy McGowan, former Finn Harps manager, Kevin Bradley sponsoring the refreshments. Everybody is welcome. 14 seasons, 397 times for Harps, and walks 3 or 4 miles every morning still. On the same knees and the same hips. Not bad, is it?
The county's #1 talk show, The 9 till Noon Show on Highland Radio. The 9 till Noon Show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union. Digital loans now available. Apply online or via our app today and get your loan transferred directly to your current account.
iMotors are now carrying the largest range of pre-owned cars in the Northwest.
Don't settle for just any car. Choose the one that suits your style and budget.
Visit imotors.ie to explore our extensive range with 20 plus brands to choose from and find your next car today.
Or call into our showroom in Letterkenny or Malin.
iMotors, fearless generation.
If you know the beauty and skincare product that suits you best, you'll find them at McGee's Chemist Letterkenny. From moisturisers, cleansers and toners to day creams and night creams, McGee's have the top brands you know and love, like Lancôme, Clarins and La Roche-Posay. Also Elizabeth Arden, Vichy, Nukes and many more. All at McGee's Chemist, Main Street, Letterkenny, and online at mcgees.ie, where the best costs less.
Donegal County Council, in association with Bryson Recycling, are holding a half-price bulky goods event at Carndonagh, Milford and Letterkenny Recycling Centres from the 24th of June until the 6th of July during site opening times. For more information and opening times, visit donegalcoco.ie or call the council on 074 9153 900.
Highland Radio Time Checks brought to you by EirGrid, the operator and developer of Ireland's electricity grid. EirGrid, powering up communities, powering up Ireland. The time is
24 minutes past 11 o'clock on this Tuesday, the 2nd of July 2024. Okay, it's time to ease our way into the garden, where we are joined now by our gardening expert, Paul McLaughlin from Ballochder Garden Centre, just down the road from us here at the Mountaintop in Letterkenny. Paul, how are you?
Not so bad, Greg.
What's happening with the weather?
I do not know, to be honest. We're starting to lose the faith slightly that we're
It's
going to get a
starting to
summer
feel
at
like
all.
a bit of a trend.
Seems to be, all right.
You know, and unfortunately, you know, with the way weather forecasts are now, we know there is no let up in this kind of unseasonable weather for the next 10 days, and we're going to have high winds tomorrow and Thursday. I don't know what impact that might have on flower plots and plants, but that is unseasonable to get such high winds and cooler temperatures and high rainfall at this time of year, Paul.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, last Thursday was very, very windy, so it wasn't. Apparently tomorrow and Thursday's going to be the same again. Probably the number one thing would be if your hanging baskets running are in any danger, maybe it'd be safer to take them down if that's at all practical. So
Yeah,
it would be.
and I mean, obviously, plants by their very nature get their energy and food from the sun to some extent.
Yeah.
If that's a correct way of putting it. The sun is in short supply. What impact's that having?
Pretty much, it's just like, say, flowers and that sort of stuff. It's just they're looking kind of flat at the minute. They're there and they're sort of doing the bare minimum, shall we say, because they aren't getting the sufficient energy from the sun. So that's where, sort of, as gardeners, you have to sort of manage your environment as best you can. So maybe doing a wee extra feed at this time of year might actually
Well, that's
give
it,
them
because,
that
you
energy
know, we, those of us who can, love to rush out and potter about, whether it's in the garden or whatever it might be when the sun's out, and probably start a bit of a regime for watering. Some people might be taking their eyes off that.
Yes,
but you still need to water them.
It's very easy to become complacent in this sort of weather. If you know, when you look outside and go, it's raining or it's not that hot, so maybe we'll give the water a miss this time round. But it's better to keep your regime up if you can.
Yep, and the strength of the flowers is drawn from the sun as well, so we can do a bit, can we, in terms of, I suppose, deadheading to bring new flowers on, but also the appropriate amount of food.
Yes, pretty much. Normally feed, you'd be chatting every 2 weeks or so. You could maybe, in periods of bad weather like this year, you could actually bring it up to pretty much a week or 10 days. If you know, you're replacing that energy that they should be getting from the sun.
Yes, and listen, we have to keep up hope that the sun will eventually come out, and in short time, that will bring everything on.
Absolutely. Everything's sort of primed and ready to go. So it should be fit to jump whenever the weather does come good, if it ever comes good.
Our enemies, the bugs and what have you, are they more likely to be around in this type of weather, or are they waiting for the sun as well?
Yes, pretty much no. This sort of weather here is just perfect for the likes of slugs and snails. I have never seen a year like it for the slug population.
Yeah.
Because they enjoy that sort of damp, like they dry out in the sun, so they don't tend to operate as much in the sunny weather. So this kind of weather is perfect for them.
So you just keep an eye to make sure they're not going at your stuff, really.
Pretty much keep an eye, exactly. It's sort of been more susceptible to damage at this time of year, just whenever they are so active, you know what I mean? Green fly is also a problem at this time of year.
Right.
If you have tomato plants or even roses, something like that there, just keep a wee eye on them.
Okay, now the last time you were in a blight warning, I think, or heading into one for the weekend. Do those with their potatoes in have to worry about blight at the moment?
Yes, blight is always worth watching for blight. At the minute, I would nearly say it's too cold for blight, as much as anything else. Like, it's sort of damp, muggy weather is ideal for the spread of blight. So it is. So at the minute, with the high winds and the actual cooler temperatures, probably not as bad as it should be, but it's definitely worth keeping an eye to.
Well, we've seen from the interest and even from people contributing to this programme that, growing your own stuff is not a fad. A lot of people are into it and others trying to get into it. Is there anything we can be doing at this time of year to occupy ourselves?
Yeah, pretty much. If you're only starting on the game, growing stuff for yourself, there's loads of stuff you could be putting in now. Sort of salad crops for the summer, do relatively quickly.
Let's ramp it up a bit from the salad. What next?
Very good. Salad. My plan for this evening is to go harvesting black currants and red currants are actually already at the minute.
So you make your own jam too.
Yes, make your own jam.
Your daughter, is it?
Yes,
you and your daughter.
But also teetered with the idea of making wine out of them at some stage.
You've been teetering with that idea for a couple of years.
Yes, exactly. My neighbour makes red currant wine now. It's actually very nice. So it is now.
Stop stealing his wine and make your own.
It's funny. Is this tradition? You go trick or treat in his house. She comes out with a red currant wine.
So what's it like?
Very nice.
I don't drink wine, so I can't really tell the difference. Well, maybe it tastes like Ribena with booze in it.
Pretty much. So it does. But it's nice for a change.
So it might be less jam, more wine for you this year.
Possibly not. I'll probably go for the jam again.
All right, okay. When do people start harvesting the potatoes? Are they weather dependent? Would they be matured in the normal time frames, I wonder?
Normally potatoes, you chatting about 100 days. 100 to 120 days, depending on the crop. Basically, a lot of potatoes were very late getting in this year. Used to be traditional, you went in and you put them in for St. Patrick's Day. But the weather was so bad this year that a lot of it didn't actually go in until very late. My own potatoes didn't go until almost the end of May, so you'd be looking sort of end of August, September for harvesting. So
your gooseberries, your black currants are coming to fruition now, so hopefully the same is happening for others. Those who planted tomatoes, should they be expecting to...
Tomatoes, yes, I would say my tomato plants are actually just nice small tomatoes set on them, if you know what I mean. They wouldn't be ripe yet because once again that comes with the sunshine. You're depending on sunshine to ripen them pretty much. But now for the next few weeks, should definitely.
All right, now I wasn't being facetious or brushing over it. Your salad crops can go in now. Your scallions too, which are lovely actually. Anything more?
Pretty much so. Your
pak choy.
Pak choy, exactly. Something like that there. So I think it's pak choy, but once again, quite easy grown.
What is it?
Basically Chinese cabbage.
Oh, is it Chinese?
Yeah, pretty much. But someone like that there, if you are growing your own stuff, it's a good idea to actually grow stuff that maybe isn't as readily available.
Yeah. This has got nothing to do with what you're talking about, but I bought last night, we did the big shop, vegan sausage rolls. Does that mean there's no meat in them, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It does?
Yeah, no animal product.
No animal product. So I'm a little bit excited to try those when I get home. See what they're like.
Yes,
I've heard some of the vegetarian sausages and bacon and stuff is actually really nice now.
Yeah. All right, no, I would have sort of veggie burgers at times, all right, but no,
Okay.
just in relation to the sausage rolls, I haven't ventured that far yet.
Yeah. Just warning Aaron if he's listening, don't eat my sausage rolls. I bought them for me. Don't eat them. The children just graze at the fridge.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know.
Yes,
and
no,
then
just
leave. This is not mentioning any names, but like taking the last thing out and leaving the packet in there.
Absolutely, we have that in our
Does
house too.
My head in.
Yes.
And then you go to reach for it, and it's like, oh, it's not there. Right, fruit trees.
Fruit trees, yes.
Is there anything we should be doing now? Are they starting to? When do apples and stuff come to?
Apples sort of usually in August,
Yeah, I
September,
was
depending on the
thinking it's
variety
later
around
in the
that.
summer, yeah.
But they should be very visible there at the minute. If you go sort of more exotic fruit, we have peaches down there almost ready.
Nice.
But they're inside in a tunnel, obviously. But
do they get the same level of sweetness as we might be used to?
They would do, aye. Yeah, they'd be quite good.
Plums,
You know, but
plums as well.
plums,
I see
yes,
plums here.
Plums outside.
I
would be
haven't
very
seen
good.
plum. I haven't had a plum in ages.
Funny, if you're starting with fruit trees, plums probably the most reliable and the most heavy cropper.
What do you do with them?
Just eat them as plums, or you're supposed to make jam, that sort of stuff
Okay.
too, you know. But in terms of your apples, that if you keep an eye on the trees, if you're lucky enough to have a good set of fruit, and the branches are actually, as the apples are getting bigger, sometimes the branches.
Well, the
get weighed
wind.
down.
This is where the wind could be a problem.
That funny, it's not as big a problem this time of year.
Is
The
it not?
apple's quite small.
Okay.
It becomes a real problem if the apple gets bigger, sort of towards the end of the season, if you know
Yeah.
what I mean. But now, if there are too many on a particular branch and it's getting weighed down, maybe thin them out a bit. Just take a few of the lesser ones.
Because you could
out.
end up losing them one way or other, couldn't you?
Absolutely.
Because birds are out feeding out this time of year.
It's
as well,
funny,
aren't they?
wasps can be quite sore in apples too.
Yeah.
They can really wee holes in them and stuff.
Do you know what's worse than finding a wasp in your apple?
Half
a wasp. Is there any sort of tricks of the trade to discourage birds from your fruit trees?
Pretty much, a lot of people will go to the bother of actually putting nets over the trees completely, if you know what I mean. An old farmer's trick was to use thread.
Yes.
Just put thread
Just
over and back around the
complicates it
tree.
for them?
Exactly, it's just they're actually afraid of getting wrapped up in their wings,
Yeah.
getting sort of tied up, if you know what I mean.
Okay.
You see other people using stuff like CDs and that sort of thing with varying levels. Just anything moves, then it makes noise.
And they just flick and rotate. And
Exactly,
what
it just
have you.
sort of distracts them a bit, so hopefully maybe it makes them a bit wary and they get a hand here, done or somewhere else.
I get you. I have fairly mature hydrangeas for the past few years. They haven't grown. Is there anything I can do?
If they haven't grown, just take a wee look at the site. Maybe where they're sitting is possibly too wet for them, or conversely, it could be too dry, if you know what I mean. But just keep an idea on whether the actual plant looks like, if the plant's small but looks healthy enough, you sort of persevere with it, if you know what I mean. Once again, take a picture and bring it to your garden.
Yeah, Cola says my spuds have only come on the last fortnight. They were planted at the end of April.
Yes, just the weather's been so bad. Things are slow to mature, if you know what I mean. It's funny, my own there, it's only in the last 2 weeks I've seen any significant growth. But before that,
There's bound to be much more moisture in the ground than you might expect. Is that going to affect the quality of the potato? Because we all know there's good and bad spuds. Like.
Yeah. I don't think it shouldn't affect the quality that badly. If you know, obviously, if they're sitting in water, but it's just it will affect the rate at which they mature, probably.
Yeah, I get you. A caller has a plum tree. We mentioned that, and wants to keep grey squirrels away from it, but they want to do as least harm to the squirrels as possible.
Yes. Squirrels sort of are becoming a new problem around Donegal. The grey squirrel has sort of migrated towards this way.
Is the grey squirrel North Korea and the red squirrel South Korea?
Pretty much.
Okay, that
seems
so
to be the way of it. All right.
Grey's bad Korea.
Yes.
Okay.
Pretty much. The notion would be the red squirrel is obviously native to Ireland, native to Donegal. Used to see them down in Lisnagra Woods down Muff there. If you actually ever want to go and see them, it's very nice. They're just running about there. But I think the grey squirrel's originally American, and he came in basically, and he carries a virus that kills off. It doesn't bother him, but it kills off the red squirrel.
Yeah.
So it's becoming a new problem. Funny, I've seen down around the hospital, there seems to be a lot of them. Actually, your colleague Jimmy Stafford had a video up the last day of his cat chasing one
right
in the garden.
A grey one.
A grey one now.
There you go.
And I've even seen them kill McCrellan there recently. So in terms of keeping them away, probably a fence of some sort, or even a net over the tree.
But they seem so agile.
I think they can be notoriously hard to keep out, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
So
because
they are.
even just in terms of how far they can spring.
Yes, pretty much. But no, I think some sort of barrier method, but I don't think there's any product you can put on it to actually to keep them away, if you know what I mean.
Okay, well, maybe we can help with mare's tail weed in the garden. This is a regular. It's a nightmare, this stuff.
Absolutely, mare's tail's coming up very regularly. All right, pretty much, depending on the surface it's on, if it's on sort of soil that you want to use again, probably a chemical spray would be your best bet, because nothing else seems to be that effective against it. So, because it's got the glossy coating, give it a battering with a stick first. Go out and just whack it a few times to break up the surface of it. Then it'll absorb the weed killer
Because
better.
you have to break down its defences, don't
Exactly.
you? I saw a guy on TikTok pouring boiling water over weeds.
Yes.
Now, I'm not sure that might work on mare's tail. Now, you can't believe everything you see, of course, least of all on TikTok. But he seemed to get great results. And what happens is the weeds die in the space, discouraging other weeds to grow where that weed was.
Yes, boiling water does work all right. The only thing is, in terms of the size gardens people have in Donegal, it's not very efficient, if you know what I mean. But no, it does work, especially if you want to do it in an organic place.
But if you like a wee 9x9 patio, probably
absolutely.
not a bad
perfect. No, and especially if some of your pets are, or some of your children are, you don't want to be using any sort of chemicals.
But as you say,
effective, but it's just efficiency of it.
Exactly, it's not efficient. What plants would you recommend if you only have a balcony for plants? Which I'm delighted about this question because I try and sort of say at the start of it that it's not just all about gardens. Not everyone has gardens. We've got, the majority of people live in urban areas where they may have a very small garden or no garden at all, but they want a bit of colour, a bit of vibrance in that little seating area where they can have a cup of coffee in the morning. So what's good for a balcony?
Good for balcony. Pretty much at this time of year, so your summer flowers, you can actually put on a very good, very impressive display at the minute on the balcony. Like you would see from the ground, you can enjoy from inside as well. But if you want to sort of be more like food oriented about it, balcony is perfect for herbs.
Yeah.
And a balcony can actually be a quite lucky space in the sense that if it's sheltered from wind,
potential sun trap as well.
Exactly. You could actually grow stuff that maybe wouldn't necessarily grow in a garden around here. Even someone like tomatoes.
Yeah.
Kind of crack,
especially if you have the glass front, because you get sort of a bit of a green.
You have the shelter going on now.
Green
No, definitely there are plenty of options there.
All right, what plants work best in pots? Probably kind of doubles up this question, really.
Yeah, pretty much. Best in pots, like say once again your summer flowers, that sort of stuff would work. Sort of some shrubs, like even the boxwoods, that sort of thing, that traditionally people put at the front doors.
Yeah, I saw actually a nice raised planter in a shop yesterday as well, which I think would be nice for a balcony. Just to bring whatever you have up off the ground
bring
a
up
little
bring
bit.
it eye level.
Feet about 18 inches.
Yeah,
it looked nice actually. I don't have a use for it, or it probably would have ended up in the car. But I think a raised planter in your and they are available. You don't have to make them yourselves in a nice sort of a brown plastic
for people with mobility issues too.
Yes,
wheelchair users actually having it up that wee bit makes life a lot handier.
Yeah, and that's a very good point. But I think too, when there's space underneath it sort of creates this impression, especially with a balcony, that you're not taking up as much space as it is if it's covering the floor.
Yes,
like it is, and you can maybe put a couple of nice lights under it or something. Do you know what I mean? That's what I would do anyway. Which is better, planters or planting in the soil?
I suppose it depends on the sort of garden you're going for, pretty much. In terms of planting and planters is handy if you have bad soil. Once again, if you're limited for space, planters work perfectly well. And if it's something that you want to sort of just temporarily, it's perfect. But if you want big plants like trees or sort of bigger shrubs, obviously in the garden would be better.
Wild rhubarb. Caller wants to get rid of it. Now, I presume this is not the same as the rhubarb that we've talked about there a couple of weeks ago, is it?
No, funny, wild rhubarb tends to be, it's a plant called gunnera, or giant gunnera. It's a very impressive plant, looks very sort of...
Is that the massive, it comes out massive? No.
Exactly, the leaves can be up to 6 feet across, so the can's very sort of Jurassic looking or something like that, but it has escaped into the wild and is very invasive, and the problem with it is them big massive leaves actually kill off everything below them, so it's very detrimental to...
And there's no fruit in it at all?
No, there's nothing.
Okay,
no.
Just resembles rhubarb as that's become its
pretty much
pejorative.
So in terms of getting rid, once again, unfortunately, it's probably to dig it out isn't that practical because they're so big and you have to get it all. So it's very hard to imagine you would get it all, basically. So once again, probably I think where your chemical sprays would come into it.
Yeah, unfortunately. We try and avoid it, but sometimes it's unavoidable if you actually want to get rid of it.
It's important that you don't do it too early in the season. It doesn't seem to take effect. So it's sort of towards the end of summer, almost as the plant's almost dying back because it's a deciduous plant anyway.
What does deciduous mean?
It means it doesn't really hold on to leaves for the winter.
Okay.
Sort of. It's deciduous, probably the wrong. It's a perennial plant in terms of it's not got a trunk, if you know what I mean.
I get you.
But it dies back, and as it's dying back, it'll bring the chemical back in.
Right, I guess.
Be more effective in killing it.
I get you. What's a good food for beech trees, please?
Beech trees are a good old friend. The chicken manure.
Poo.
Yes, good for anything.
Snowdrop bulbs.
Snowdrop bulbs, yes.
Caller wants to plant them.
Yeah, pretty much snowdrops, they can be hard to establish. So they can. So generally buy sort of twice as many as you want. And hopefully you'll get some of them, if you know what I mean. But generally available in shops sort of late August, September.
When should we use Epsom salt when growing veg? Does it keep slugs under control?
Epsom salts, I'm not sure about it keeping slugs under control. What it probably does there, it actually builds up the plant. in the sense that the plant's better able to fight off the attack from the slug, if you know what I mean. But I think the main sort of constituent of the Epsom salts is magnesium. So what you're doing is building that up. So it is a good feed for vegetables and that, especially if you have magnesium deficiency in them.
Yes.
But in terms of, I don't think it actually deters the slugs.
And more hydrangeas not blooming, loads of green lush in them. What would this be? And I think all season so far, a lot of people seem to be having issues with the hydrangea.
Yes, possibly just the lack of sunlight.
Yeah.
Might be as much as anything else. It might be just a few weeks sort of behind where they should be. If the plant's lush enough and green enough looking, someone like your poultry manure probably wouldn't help that much because it's going towards the green part of the plant. So any fertilizer that's high in potash.
This caller has got a problem I would say an awful lot of people can relate to. Now, whether it was the overspray or the wind was blowing, this spray, whatever it contacts with, will have an impact. My driveway was sprayed with weed killer. Now some of my hedge and rose bush is dying. Will the hedge recover?
I suppose there are a few things.
Imagine it's surface.
So it depends on the weed killer.
Yeah.
In a lot of sense. Some weed killers are just contact. It'll just kill them leaves that it touches and it won't go down into this plant, if you know what I mean. Where some of them are systemic and it would actually, if it's systemic, goes down into the plant roots. So you could be in danger there if you
wait
know what
and
I mean.
see though.
It's kind of a wait and see, unfortunately. There's not much you can do to sort of whatever's happened, if you know what I mean.
You have to be really careful with that stuff. And you'll see an awful lot of people then too with the sort of white patch around the curb of the lawn where there's been an overspray there as well.
Yes, can happen.
So it does happen, yeah. One final question, if that's okay, on rhubarb.
Yeah.
I have a rhubarb plant which I planted last summer. I'm wondering, can I harvest any of the rhubarb this summer, or am I better to wait until next summer? And what's the best way to prepare it for the winter months when that time comes? Thank you.
Yes, basically, if it's big enough now, I would try to harvest some as best you can. You may as well make use of it. The autumn time, rhubarb's quite a hungry plant, so it's a good idea to put a mulch, put either a good bit of sort of fresh compost around the top of the plant, like I think it's the crown you call it. And even if you have well-rotted horse manure or something like that, they'd be perfect. You should have a good crop next year.
All right, great stuff. Grey squirrels take all the hazelnuts. They also outcompete the food source of the native red squirrels. They've got a lot of advantage on the grey squirrels.
Seems to be all right.
Not least what was just mentioned there is just the reality. All right, now if you have, by the way, just to remind you, Ballochdur Garden Centre, and we've got fantastic garden centres right across the region, and they're full of fantastic people like Paul, who are more than happy for you to call in to have a chat, a bit of advice, take pictures in, or what have you. They love to see you coming and leaving with your arms full, preferably.
Absolutely.
But anyway, so you can call into Ballochdur Garden Centre, chat to Paul and the team, or as I say, any of your garden centres. They're all really helpful, friendly people. But for now, Paul, thank you so very much indeed.
Thank
it's
you.
Always a pleasure. Thank you for answering all of our questions.
The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union, with monster loans available up to €60,000 for all occasions. Visit letterkennycu.ie.
Hi, Paddy here at Shane Conley Cars in Donegal Town. Are you looking to upgrade your car? With Shane Conley Cars, you'll find makes and models for every budget. Great finance options, and we also accept trade-ins. Check out ShaneConleyCars.com or call in to us at Shane Conley Cars from Lonaher Road, Donegal Town.
Ensure the safety of your team with SafeTech. We have part-funded courses in first aid, people moving and handling, confined spaces, food hygiene, quad bikes, fire warden, IPAF MUPS, electrofusion, welding and machinery cards for Ireland and UK sites. Also delivering online courses like utilities, water hygiene and construction supervisors. SafeTech can deliver group training at your business premises. To find out more, contact safetech.ie today.
If you need an eye test, look no further than Louis Walsh Opticians. Letterkenny's longest established opticians are delighted to welcome patients new and old to their state-of-the-art practice in the Courtyard Shopping Centre. Their latest technology includes a 3D OCT retinal camera which assesses the health of your eyes in minutes. Private, medical card and PRSI patients welcome. Call 91 21000 to arrange your eye test.
Louis Walsh Opticians, Letterkenny. Your vision, our focus.
The 9 till noon show with Letterkenny Credit Union, now offering mortgages from €40,000 to €600,000 with no hidden fees or transaction charges. Letterkenny Credit Union, 9102127.
There's Monster Bingo tonight and every Tuesday night at Mulroy Woods Hotel, Milford. €3,250 must go. Doors open at 7:30. Bingo starts at 8:30. That's Monster Bingo tonight at Mulroy Woods Hotel, Milford.
It's at Croke Park time of year. Get ready to show your colours at Brian McCormick Sports and Leisure. New for 2024-2025. Donegal home and away jerseys. Donegal Junior Rockway quarter zips. 20% off. In-store and online. Infant tracksuits and kits will keep all the family supporting Donegal. Click on bmcsports.ie.
Do you need a UK address? Save hundreds of euros on custom charges shopping online with Space Hub Dairy. We provide a full virtual address mailbox service for all your business and personal use. Save hundreds, possibly thousands, on custom charges with Space Hub Dairy. Call 048 71 87 8077 for more details.
Highland Radio weather updates brought to you by McElhinney's. Support a local Donegal business with McElhinney's. From fashion to home essentials, find everything you need for any occasion. Shop McElhinney's Ballybuffet for quality you can trust.
Unfortunately, scattered outbreaks of rain and drizzle will develop this afternoon. Temperatures of just 14 or 15 degrees in light to moderate southwest to west winds. We're joined on the programme now by Independent County Councillor Michael McClafferty. Michael, good morning to you. Thanks for joining us.
Morning, Greg. Morning, listeners.
Another reminder of the dangers of phone cables, phone chargers, and they're readily available all over the place. And maybe there's different quality standards in terms of, official licensed ones or the ones that actually come with your handset versus the cheaper ones you can pick up. But anyway, be that as it may, your family member had a lucky escape charging a phone. What went on, Michael?
Yeah, that's correct, Greg. Basically, what went on, just the phone in question and the charger in question was charging down one of the bedrooms, and the family member was elsewhere in the house doing housework and that, and just then they thought then they felt or they smelt what they described as a burning smell. So they went to investigate. Then they went down to the room. Then when they were down to the room, then just basically the phone charger connected to the phone was sizzling, starting just smoking, about to possibly go on fire. And that's really what happened. I don't know if you can see it or not. But
yep, looking at the pictures. Oh, sorry, I can see. Yes, I see it there in front of you.
That's a close up to it there. As close as I can show you on the camera, Greg, of how far it could badly burnt. Like, so that was just probably very close as they described away from igniting.
And you know what? People often leave them charging under the pillow at night. Well, now we shouldn't do that, of course, but people tend to want 100% battery when they wake up in the morning. Like it could have been very serious. This
could be very serious, Greg. If it had happened a couple of hours beforehand, as you rightly as you say, through the night, it could have just been disastrous consequences. And I suppose just look as a reminder to us all, for adults, children, elderly alike, regardless who it is, right across the board, particularly people that wouldn't be thinking on it. That this is real life. This happened in our house Sunday morning, and during daylight hours in the morning time when people was up and about. If that had happened through the night, which look, I hold my hand up, I'm guilty of it. My phone's in charge plenty of nights beside me, in the bed or whatever. The phone's on, Greg Hughes is going, listen to the playback, when I finish a long night.
Does it help you fall asleep or keep you awake? That's the question.
Well, sure, does a bit of both, but sure, anyway, it's entertainment, and that's the main thing.
And come here, Michael, too, it's not like some of these warnings, sometimes it can come across as in a worst case scenario, but it's not that long ago I was chatting to a lady whose beautiful home was destroyed, and the suspect was a phone on charge upstairs, and very, very quickly the house went up. It might have had a thatched roof, if I remember correctly, but maybe not. But anyway, be that as it may, the house went up really, really quickly. So I think you're right to say, you're lucky.
We are lucky, Greg, 100% very lucky, and just thankfully this morning being able to talk to yourself and yesterday and that there, the team, counting my blessings on it, that the house is okay, the family members okay, first and foremost, obviously. But look, it's a good day that we can talk about the next day and just send out this warning to everybody. Yeah. And I say just all these electronic devices, there'll be a phone, there'll be a mobile phone we're talking about today, there'll be a electric razor, there'll be a whatever.
See, what I too don't like as well too, and Patrick points this out on YouTube, and thanks for this, Patrick, is that a lot of people now have certain tariffs with their electricity. The electricity is cheaper at night, and they're putting on dishwashers, dryers, washing machines at night, and I can understand why they might do that. But the advice I always got from fire safety experts is there's so much heat generated, because people think it's associated with water. There's so much heat generated. In fact, I spoke to a member of the fire service himself whose dishwasher went up in the kitchen. I'm a wee bit concerned about this tendency now that we might have to charge the big appliances as well, because whatever about that little charger, and listen, if it got a duvet or a pillow going, it could be very serious as well. I do worry about people trying to avail of cheaper electricity and running these big units at night as well, because they are bloody dangerous.
They are very dangerous, and by and large now most houses, Greg, as you point out there, most houses, to be fair, do obviously, nearly every house, to be fair, has a washing machine inside. Quite a lot in recent times have the dryer inside as well. There's very few houses have the luxury of having the washing machine or the dryer in an outhouse or a shade or that. So yes, and as you say, they're obviously trying to avail in of the cheap electricity, which we all do by default. That's going to be happening at night time when you're going to get the most saving on it.
All right, okay. Well, listen, people can take note. Thanks very much for that, Councillor Michael McClafferty, Independent there. Now, tickets go on sale for Donegal versus Galway this afternoon at 3 o'clock via Ticketmaster through the GEA website. On my socials, I've linked it directly to the Ticketmaster site for both semi-finals if you were interested in that one. Would it not have made more sense, given the fact that Donegal and Galway have to travel to Croke Park? Would it have not made more sense to give us the Saturday tie, and then on Sunday, because it's quite a late kickoff, quite a late throw-in, it would have been better then for Dublin and Armagh, because at least then you'd only have one set of fans having to travel north, and maybe the connections between Armagh and Dublin are more favourable than they are from Dublin to Donegal, and also the late throw-in time. So if it's, say, for instance, hypothetically went to extra time, I think it's extra time in Pens again, you could be talking about after 6, then you have to take maybe an hour and a half to get out onto the motorway home. So you could be landing home 12, 1 o'clock and then up for work, thankfully not school, but up for work the next day. Am I just being sort of very looking after our own in thinking it would have been more practical to have Donegal Galway on Saturday and the Dublin why am I saying Dublin? Sorry. It's not Dublin at all. The Dublin, can't get it out of my head. Anyway, put our game on, Galway, Donegal on the Saturday, and Kerry and Armagh on the Sunday. But I suppose Kerry have to travel as well. Anyway, I think it'd be better for us the other way around. My word, I need something to eat. I can't think, I'm so hungry. But anyway, the reason I was getting onto that, hi, does any of your followers know why it's necessary to buy a ticket for the Donegal match for, wait for this, a 6-month-old baby? They won't be taking up a seat. Of course they won't. They'll be on your lap, won't they? Well, they do need a ticket for this game for some reason. Normally, a child under 2 can go free, but we're double checking this and we'll follow this up tomorrow. But as it stands now, if you wanted to bring a 6-month-old with you to the game, you need a ticket. That sounds strange, doesn't it? Update on the situation at Glenveigh National Park. We got now I said Tuesday, Wednesday. It was actually Monday, Wednesday, because we got this email yesterday. But due to staffing pressure over the past 2 weeks, we've had to temporarily close Glenveigh Castle on a number of days. Health and safety of our staff and visitors is paramount and always central to decision making. We're doing everything we can to reopen this week, but we'll remain closed on Monday. That was yesterday. It's open today, but closed tomorrow for the next while due to staffing issues. But it's still not clear to me if it's open, if it's closed Monday and Wednesday for the next while. This is like our second attempt to try and get clarification on that. I don't want to discourage anyone from going there, so it's really important I have the right info. We're going to head up to Muff Liquor after the show to see if we can get a word with any of the celebs that are up there. So if we're lucky, check out our social media later or the programme tomorrow. We'll see. Might not be no luck, but we'll go up and see. I use that call centre. This is the Garda call centre in Galway. I used that call centre to report a drink driver who I followed. By the time I got through and got past to several people and all the details were taken, the driver was home. All that system is doing is giving people more time to get away. I, for one, will never use the system again. Hi, Greg. Would you mind telling us where you got those door cameras you're speaking about? It wasn't a door camera. These are sort of a little bulbous camera, right? They're fantastic if you've got a baby. They're fantastic as a child monitor. The picture at night is fantastic, but also it can track them in the playroom. But also you can hear them in crystal clear, and it just goes off your Wi-Fi, and you connect it to your phone. It can also connect to your Fire Stick as well. and you can have it up in the corner of your TV screen as you watch it. They're easy viz, and I can say where they're available. Where I saw them, they were in Home Store in Milford. That's where I saw them, €45. And as I say, they're very easy to use and fully remote controlled and motion detection. And if you wanted to leave one just looking at your front door and your back door, and then when you go into bed, you arm them, you can have peace of mind. They make a siren go off or they send an alert to your phone. But the best monitor for a baby that you'll ever get, other than the ones that maybe check breathing and stuff. My mother's been in hospital for 5 weeks and she could be at home if there was home help available. She only needs 15 minutes in the evening and in the morning. There appears to be a lack of home help carers in the Ballybofey, Finn Valley area. Very frustrating. Your mum should be at home, not in hospital for 5 weeks. Bring in the retired staff to help at Glenveigh. If I travelled miles, I'd be very disappointed to see it close. Kathleen from Burt, thanks for that. Hi, Greg. What's people's view on Shay Given on RTE Sport as a former Ireland goalkeeper talking about our time to win? As in England, he's talking about our time. Come on, Shay. Did you change citizenship? I mean, a lot of his former teammates and all are there. It's maybe a bit of a slip. I didn't see it. I don't know if he corrected himself. And I kind of wanted to watch the English commentary because it's great to see them kind of unravel. It's great to see them unravel live. Write everything off, and then just the English football fans and English commentary team are hilarious. So I prefer to watch the England games on the English channels, particularly the BBC. What is the only minister in this county doing about one of our main tourist attractions in Donegal being closed 2 days a week in the height of summer? What have Fulch Ireland to say about it? Well, we're chasing up all avenues. Public health nurses are being replaced, but registered nurses aren't. That's as it relates to the recruitment embargo. Is it now? The Taoiseach himself said in this programme that people are still being hired. Let me see. Callers say she's a nurse and thanked Carmel for speaking up on their behalf. The area lost a doctor during COVID. They cannot afford to lose a nurse as well. Thank you very much for that, by the way. It's great to hear other voices backing Carmel there. There seems to be a lot of road traffic collisions involving lorries recently, with 2 instances in Donegal yesterday alone. Is this because there are more HGVs on the road, or because a lot of lorries are larger than they used to be, but the roads aren't any wider? Well, we've got regular listeners that work in the haulage industry. And maybe they are listening at the moment and might have a chat with us tomorrow to talk about why we might be seeing an increase from a low base in instances involving HGVs. They seem to be falling off the road. I don't know if the sides of the roads are giving away or they're avoiding oncoming traffic. I don't know. But as I say, I know there are some listeners who work in that area and they'll keep us right, no doubt. Let's finish up with a request. Can you wish Lara Fall, Glen Swilly, a very happy 21st birthday today from her mum and dad, Connor, Orla, Roisin. Thank you. Good morning, Greg. Always great show. Audrey tuned in. Audrey, thank you very much indeed. We need all of you. Spread the word, by the way. If you know people that don't listen, tell them why they should. It's all about the Northwest, and we also keep you in touch with everything else that's happening across the country and world, so you don't have to tune out. Right, thanks very much to Caroline Orr, who researched and produced the show, assisted ably by Shannon Wilkins. We'll be back with you tomorrow morning at 9, but don't go anywhere. John Breslin is up with great music and conversation around the Northwest.